All right, and we are live. How's it
There we,
going, Constitutional?
what's up, man?
It's what, Wednesday night? We're already halfway done with January. Close to halfway done with January. Time's flying.
Oh, dude, and the older I get, the faster it flies, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, my daughter just turned 10. Don't remind me.
Oh, we're older,
Ugh.
brother.
Yeah, we got to go shopping this weekend, amongst other things, but shopping for her birthday. It's mainly clothes. I have good kids, so it's mainly clothes that she asked for. So we got to go on a shopping spree
Oh,
this
for sure.
weekend. So that's going to be interesting. But I do have something that I wanted to run by you. So I have here, and I'll flip them to the backside. I got some payment in the form of money orders. Now, these are from my rental property, and I'm not like, I don't know. It's not, they're not sketched. They've done it before, right? And they're official. I completely expect that they'll, post and everything will be fine with the payment. But when I gave them the lease has all the electronic deposit information on it. They also have a checking account. They've paid me through a check before, which is fine again. But I don't know in this day and age why someone would go, especially in this case, because it crosses the limit. So they have to pay for two money orders. I just don't know why they would go through all that extra trouble when there's other options available. It seems kind of odd to me.
Well, um, sometimes I come into cash at my job that I don't necessarily enlighten the government about, and I personally don't. I don't know what situation they're in, but I don't want to deposit that in my account necessarily because that leaves a electronic trail. So for me, and that's why I use like SD Boy and Hero because they'll take money orders. So I can just take that cash, go down to Plaid Pantry, 7-Eleven, whatever, get a money order, send that in for
Oh,
payment on bullion,
ho,
and then
ho, 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 ho. So slow that down for me. Hero and who else will take a
SD
money order
SD bullion, yeah,
for metals?
yeah, absolutely. Now
I
it
can.
takes an extra like week or so because you got to mail it and they got to hold it until it,
Oh, you mail it.
yeah, yeah. So what you
So
do, you place the order. It tells you the total. It gives you an order number. You go get the money order. You write the order number on there. You get the money order for the right amount. You mail it off, and they hold it for you until they get the money order. And then once it clears, they ship your stuff out.
no kidding.
Uh huh.
That's interesting. So you
Uh,
can buy. Oh, there's a video for you right there. You can buy metals without your cash ever touching and it like an electronic tracking. I mean, I'm sure somewhere, they have a record that you purchased something, but it
yeah.
didn't go to the bank. It's not
Right.
Uncle Sam really isn't. That's that's a video for you right there,
That,
sir.
that's a good idea. And it looks like Roadhog might be a high roller. He says I pay my rent a lot in money orders, so he's keeping the government out of the loop. He's a rich man.
Well, and I remember doing money orders, and this is gonna sound bad, but I remember doing money orders a lot. I wasn't as financially savvy as I am now, and so I was using money orders, but for different reasons. Have I couldn't save. We talked about some of that before, but
Right.
I didn't have like checks, and even if you did checks, like you, back then, writing a check was just a bigger risk for me to bounce something, to forget about some other payment, and
I've
to
been there.
right. So because they
Yeah.
take so long to post, even nowadays with the
Yeah.
electronic ones on bills. I
Yep.
mean, luckily, I make more than I spend each month, but like stuff just like I had one, it's a payment that I make every month. Just one month took like forever to post, like to the point to where I called them, like, hey, you guys haven't taken this out yet. Like, what's going on? And they're like, oh, we're just behind. I'm like, if I was anybody else, you'd be running the risk of like bouncing this on me because it's been like 2 weeks and
Yeah,
you
and,
haven't.
and, and you forget that you got that money coming out. So you're like, oh, I can go down to Burger King and get dinner or whatever, and then boom, you get hit with an overdraft and it doesn't clear. It sucks.
Right, exactly. So I've used money orders, but not for a while. So it just, and it's a decent amount of money. I don't know. I find it weird that they want to pay in money orders, but actually, okay, that part is not as sketch as the second part. So I went out because it's my rental property, and up till now, at least on this one, I've been writing out paper receipts, but that's a hassle. So I figured I'd be a little more better, and I'd get like some carbon copy receipt books and actually like write legit receipts. So I started doing that, and the guy keeps like saying that he doesn't want the receipts. If I gave somebody a bunch of money, I would want a receipt that I paid that money. I don't know. So
Yeah,
maybe
that's
it's the
kind of weird.
combination. Yeah, that's the combination of the two.
That
So
I don't know the receipt thing. That's kind of weird. I mean, maybe he just trusts you. I'll tell you, when I go to my LCS, he always tries to give me a receipt. I'm like, I don't need that, but that's a totally different thing. I mean, this is rent.
yeah, that's rent. Like there's a lot writing on that. I could just be like, you didn't pay, and he'd be like, yeah, I did, and I'd be like, prove it. Like,
Exactly.
I could just send these off to Hero and get some new ounces, right?
Exactly. So we got the
Well,
usual suspects here tonight. We got Siren. She's in the house. Roadhog looks like just
Da
Stack's here.
Vinci,
Da
Mike,
Vinci's here. Mike. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm sure Johnny T will be making his way in at some point.
yeah. When he figures out that we're live, yeah, I
Yeah.
feel weird with these headphones. I haven't
Me
worn
too.
these since I was trading cryptocurrency all the time, and I
Oh,
was in like
for real.
Discord servers like all day. Well, not all day, but if I didn't have other things to do, and I realized that they've become, I'm not as used to them anymore. Where I used to wear them for hours on end.
Did you get
So
rich on that crypto or what, man?
I made some money. I lost I lost a bunch that I could have made more, but I just kept it in way too long. I in my other live the other night, as I was looking up something to show people charts or something, I realized that one of the cryptos I still had about 2 grand in has dropped to like 3 thousandths of a cent. My 2,000 ish
Yeah.
dollars
Wow.
is now worth like $70 to
That's
give you an
crazy.
idea. But yeah, I made a bunch of money. I got pretty lucky. I caught a couple good swings. And then the smart thing was I capitalized the first decent win into some other stuff, into some other stuff, into some other stuff. And then I saw a big hit coming, and I moved like not everything, but close to everything I had into that one. And then it shot up. I made a pretty good amount of money. Um, that was what, 2000 or 2021? Yeah, I think 2021. I made a decent amount of money because yeah, my taxes last year were not fun. My accountant got very mad at me
Oh
because
yeah, making them work for that money.
well, no, it was even worse. I hooked up a crypto trading bot to some stuff, and it trades on a platform, so it's two separate things, right? So you have the platform and you have the bot. The bot's trading for you on that platform, but neither one of these two things kept any really good records. So
Right.
by the end of it, the best thing that I could get was an Excel document of all of my transactions. It had
So
over 30,000 transactions that my accountant had to sift through.
so Mike says, uh, someone's got to keep up on the chat, brother. Mike
No,
says,
no.
CS, great to see you on the live circuit lately. Thanks for that, dude. That's awesome. I'm kind of putting it out there, and then looks like Savage Stacker's in the house. There goes the
Oh,
neighborhood. What's up, Savage?
yeah.
DC?
Good to see you. Yeah, we do gotta. It's a little easier now. I need to. I need to figure out this whole camera thing because that's my problem. I want to look at the camera, but the chat's over here.
I was just thinking about the camera. So it's funny. This webcam picks up so
Hmm.
much light. Look at this 10 ounce of sahi I got. Like it's just, I have no extra light on. I have horrible
Wait,
lighting in here, and
that's a
it's just
10 ounce?
yeah, it's a 10 ounce, and
It
it's
looks
just
so small. Bring it closer so we can see it.
and it's just reflecting the light off so much, and there's no light in here. Can you see that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
Now,
but my other camera has a hard time picking up light, so I got to find that happy medium.
there might be settings too. Like you'll have to go into like your camera, like I don't know, type
Yeah,
it into your search bar, and it'll bring up the camera app. You can pull up that camera, and you may be able to like adjust some settings in there. It won't be a whole lot, but you might have some play there. You can kind of mess with it.
Speaking of live chat, if you guys want some true knowledge, especially about mining, Savage and I did one. Geez, dude, I guess it was technically today on my channel. That was fun.
Mhm.
That was over 2 hours. Turns out we can go on and on.
Yeah, Savage was talking about he was looking like for a claim to buy, right?
I think he has a claim or
Well,
two.
yeah, but
Savage,
he's
you got
looking for one. He's actively searching.
yeah, Savage. How many claims do you have? You have one or two, don't you? I'm sure he'll enlighten us here in the chat in a
Because
second.
that, I mean, life isn't ready for that. But if I ever do retire and we think there's still anything in the ground, I will totally go dig through dirt all day looking for gold. I don't even almost care if I find it. It'd just be it'd be very nice to kind of do that. I've watched a couple channels that have claims, I'm guessing, and do that kind of thing, and it's very cool. I mean, I got this right. I bought this a while back, not too long ago, and that is just cool that you can look at this and it's kind of in its raw form and it's pulled out of the ground like this. Like that's amazing.
Oh, it's just I got a buddy that he yeah Savage has two claims. They're under snow right now, yeah, but they're
They're under snow.
yeah. I got a buddy that and I talked about this a little bit this morning. Um, he's got a grandfather who owns a mine that's produced a fair amount of gold for him in Eastern Oregon, and it looks like he's going to inherit it. And he wants to bring me in possibly to help him prospect it because he doesn't trust anybody else. I've known him for 30 years, and probably longer, about 30 years, and I'm looking forward to that. And I forget why I mentioned that, but this is what he always has told me. He goes, if you want to make money in life, you got to mine something from the ground. And I think that's a great saying. He goes, if it comes out of the ground, it'll make you money. So,
Well, I mean,
he didn't
yeah,
talk about playing in the dirt,
because theoretically you haven't really paid for it. I mean, maybe in the acquisition of the claim or the land or whatever, but you still have the land once you kind of pull this thing. So that makes
Right.
sense. Oil, gold,
Yeah.
there's other minerals. Heck, now even water. There's been, when I was over in the crypto space and investing heavily and doing some of those things, um, there's a lot of people, a lot that are pushing. There's two sides of the coin right now. There's the privatization of water, and there's the we need to establish it as a standard of a basic human right and you can't own it whatsoever. But I think we know who's going to win that.
Yeah.
And the guy that predicted, now it may have just been a lucky lottery ticket, but one of the guys who predicted the 2008 financial crash, Michael Burry, um, he actually has said publicly like he feels like the next big thing is going to be investing in water because these companies, are bottling it up and selling it to people for, I mean, what's the markup? In some cases, 1,000%, per
And
bottle.
and that's true. And it's not just the companies too. Uh, about I want to say 4 or 5, maybe 6 years ago, in Eastern Oregon, there was a guy who he lived out in the sticks, man, and he had big buckets to catch the rainwater that he used to water his crops and his food and whatever else. And they actually kept warning him, said, "You can't do that, dude. It's free. It falls from the sky." They threw him in jail over it. I actually like sent the jail some pretty colorful emails. I'm like, you know what? And then I told him, I said, "Here's
Collecting
the deal." Yep. And I told him, I said, "Here's the deal."
rainwater, right?
Yeah. And I told the county, I said, "Here's the deal. If you want to play like this belongs to you, if I'm going through your county and it's raining and I slip and get in an accident, then I'm going to sue you because it's your water, right?" I mean, it's ridiculous. The city out here where I live told a couple car lots on McLaughlin that they can't collect rainwater to wash their cars. It's just they want to monopolize the whole thing and charge people whatever they
The
can. Ridiculous.
I'm all about the environment, right? Like, yes, we are doing a lot of things wrong, right? So that's already been said, but some of these laws that they are passing are just it's not even helpful. Like to collect rainwater, to try to conserve the stuff that we're processing and piping and doing, that is attempting to be sustainable, and it's the
Right.
same way over here. Again, I haven't looked into it a whole lot recently, but like in I think the exact area I'm in now, like you can have a water catchment, but it can be like a barrel, and it has to like look pretty if it's in public view, and like all of this, that, and the other. Like if you had like a 5,000 gallon water tank, that would be a problem. Like you can have one, they'll let you do it to like, oh, so you can water your flowers or whatever, but like any real water catchment, they say no, you're not allowed to have it. It's
Isn't that
against
crazy?
ordinances or whatever they come up with, zoning. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's crazy because there is one guy, and I don't know how he's getting away with it yet. Actually drove by it not long ago because it's right here in the middle of all these houses, but he's got a whole bunch of garden beds in his like front yard, and I don't know how he's getting away with that, or they. I don't know who it is, but they don't look like they were put in yesterday, obviously. So I'm like, how hard did this guy fight for the right to grow vegetables on his very tiny front yard? It's not a very big front yard. And I'm sure he has a backyard, but I'm sure he had to fight tooth and nail to even be allowed to do that.
And see, that shouldn't even be a thing. I mean, the right to grow your own food, to collect water, because like you said, collecting water, it preserves resources for other people. But see, they're all about getting their cut, man. They're all about getting their greedy little paws on what we have, and they present it to people like it's for the greater good. And they do the same thing with dietary things when they tell you to eat certain foods that are actually bad for you because it's all about follow the money. Buy electronic assets, buy into Fed coin or whatever they're going to call it. It's all
Oh,
about
it's
money.
what I still don't know. I'm glad you brought that up because we heard right there in late December, early January, that it was already live, like in beta testing, supposedly somewhere,
Yeah,
select
it
markets.
was the day before Thanksgiving. It was the night before Thanksgiving. It went into
Where
beta testing for 3 months.
where is where is it?
I
Like
think it's in New York. I'm not sure. I
and
know certain
I want to
banks
know
like
how it works.
HSBC.
You know
I
what I
don't know.
mean?
I don't know. HSBC is involved. Citibank's involved. A lot of the big banks. It's if you guys know in the chat, enlighten us perhaps. But it's not good, man.
Well, so here's what I imagine right now. It's like two buckets, right? Like let's say they flipped a switch at one bank and they said, okay, everything that comes into your bank now becomes this Fed coin or whatever. And then as it goes out, if it needs to be transferred to back to digital dollars or whatever, then okay, that'll have to happen. But until that, anything that's being held here or moving in and out between you and other banks that are in the beta program are basically this crypto digital currency. So that's kind of where I imagine it is right now. It's kind of two buckets, and they're testing like, can we transfer? Are there issues? I don't know, security risks, whatever those might be, and they're kind of feeling it out. It may not actually be something that we as the public can detect, and that's even scarier. Is that if, let's just say, the beta test goes well, they flip the master switch and everybody's stuff just flips over, and we don't see a difference. There's not much we can really do. It's just kind of happened. That's the way I imagine it is going to go down.
And I asked this question a couple years ago because I've been stacking for a long time. I
See you later,
about,
Savage. He's got to run.
about so did DC. So thanks for stopping by, both of you guys. Savage, take it easy, brother. Go lift some weights. Stay yoked. um, um, I emailed Yankee years ago. I said, listen, man, I've been stacking a long time. I said, with all these CBDCs that they keep talking about, how do you think that's going to work for us stackers? And he didn't have, no one has an answer. And because here's the deal. So, and I don't know if you guys have thought about this. I've thought about this in depth. So if we have to sell our metal at some point, which we're all going to, probably sell some at some point, whether we're retired, whether we fall in hard times, whatever it is. And we have to sell it for this CBDC garbage. How's that going to work? Obviously, we'd have to show that we didn't have a profit so we don't get taxed. I don't know how that's going to work, but I still think, even if we had to do that, which God forbid, I think we're in a better position as stackers because I think we will get more of that CBDC than we would for our dollar. I don't know what you guys think, or if you guys have thought about that. I'm sure you guys have, but it's something worth thinking about. It's kind of scary.
Yeah, I mean, here's the problem I see with I don't know all of the ins and outs of what happened to FTX. I mean, obviously, it sounds like there were some fundamental inconsistencies with their business practices. But just before that, there was an individual with a lot of money and apparently not enough to do. And he found this project that was a stable coin. Stable coin's supposed to stay pegged to $1, a stable rate. So in crypto, this would be you're trading, right, between cryptos trying to get gains. And this would be your safety net, your holding pattern while you're waiting to figure out what you're going to move your money into next. So you would transfer it from said crypto, realize your gains, and put that into a stable coin. And then later, sometime, figure out where you want to park that to try to get more gains or whatever. So that's what stable coins are. They're essentially supposed to be $1 at all times. This guy saw some vulnerabilities, and had nothing to do and a lot of money. So he basically tanked the stable coin. He chose to strike when it was its most vulnerable and acquired all this stuff, right? The stable coin. And then when he saw it I don't know what weakness he saw, but he saw it. And then he started unloading tons and tons of it. And it started to depeg the value from $1 to, let's say, 90 cents. Well, when you're talking about something that's never supposed to go off of $1 in value, people started freaking out, which caused a collapse. Everybody else started selling too. And then everybody else that really is late to the party sees that their dollars are now worth 80 cents or whatever. I don't know how low it got, but it was bad. And so it collapsed the whole project.
See,
And so I wonder if we go digital currency, that might be the chance that somebody gets to see, hey, well, we can collapse these large crypto projects. What do we got to do to collapse this one? I mean, it's essentially the same kind of thing. You would think it's not backed by anything, right?
Yeah, see, and that's the whole manipulation. Josh is in the house. He just joined. How you doing, Josh?
Josh,
So and they do the same thing with silver markets, but here's what's funny, right? Like when it's just like you get someone like Elon Musk, or you get some celebrity, they say something about Bitcoin or Dogecoin, one way or the other, they can completely control the market because someone will dump it based on what they said and change the value of it, or people will buy it and it will, change the value of it. And the electronic markets do the same thing with silver, but this is and gold. But this is where physical metals really shine, because the physical market or the paper market can do whatever it wants, and it can completely control those digital currencies because they're not assets, right? The paper market can control physical all at once, but there's going to come a point where that's not going to matter because the physical is going to be needed, and you can't do that with crypto. So it's almost like the ability to manipulate crypto and other digital things is just infinite, and it's crazy. That's why I think metals are
it's
just so much safer, personally.
it's the primary reason why governments across the world right now are buying up gold at alarming rates. I mean, alarming. Like they have not. I can't think of a time on record where they've been acquiring the amount that they have, because everyone's realized when those zeros go away or somebody else does something and you were just chilling, but Russia starts a war or whatever, you know all of a sudden everybody's economically unstable. So, and I think people are really wising up on a global scale, and sounds like some of the powers that be, thank God, that if you don't hold it, you don't own it, and there's no backing to. I I think, I don't know. I'll have to do that research and see if anybody's even backed by anything, like actually right now, in the world stage. Because I almost want to say that, like, directly, like dollar for gold, I don't think anyone's like 100% solvent on their
Oh,
government's currency. They all
no
see the
way.
U.S. taking the lead as this world leader and printing money into creation, at the rate that we are. And they're like, well, why are we trying to play a fair game if they're over here doing this? Well, if they can do it, we should be able to. And then just we're building a house of cards. And
Oh,
unfortunately, now it's a global economy. It used to be, if something happened over there, that's their problem. Sucks to be them. Maybe we'll send some money or something to help. But like, it was mainly a them problem. Now almost everything major that transpires is a we problem.
oh,
Stock
dude,
markets tumble, values tumble, products go up in value or in price. It's really bad.
I can't think of one central bank that's probably truly solvent, or one government. Edward Scissorhands, welcome.
Nope.
Um, it's just it's insane, and we're the world reserve currency. I think somewhere between 60 and 70% of all things traded globally are done in our currency, and other nations hate us for it. I mean, we've weaponized the dollar for so long. That's why you see the BRICS nations growing and growing and growing, and they want to detach themselves from our currency because they see what we're doing and they see how we use it. And what really scares me is hyperinflation can't really happen until we lose world reserve currency, and or the petrodollar that we have with Saudi Arabia. Like, if you want oil from Saudi Arabia, you have to buy it in USD. That's just the way it is. Well, the flip side to that is we agreed to provide them military protection if they sold oil in our dollars. Well, they want to join BRICS, but they're kind of fearful of being invaded from Iran. Well, I fear the minute that they decide that Iran's not a threat and they all join BRICS, If they dump the world, if the world dumps us as a reserve currency and the petrodollar, we're in trouble, dude.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's one of the things that not only do I feel is inevitable, I don't know how long it'll be.
Agree.
Give me just a minute. We'll pick this up in a minute. Hang out with the chat for a second. Let me go put the little one to bed. I'll be right back.
All right. Good luck. Hope you got that melatonin.
No, not tonight.
So I can't chat directly with you guys in StreamYard because this is on Matt's channel. I have to do it on the actual YouTube video. But what do you guys think about us losing the world reserve currency and the petrodollar? How much does that concern you? Because I think about it a lot, and I don't think it's going to happen tomorrow, but I think it's going to be a slow decline, and I think that rate of decline is increasing in its speed, and I don't like it. Also, this Asahi here, I ordered some rounds with it. I picked up 6 rounds at the LCS on Monday, and this and 4 other rounds arrived today. But what's interesting about that, and I screwed up, and I'm going to tell you about that in a second. What's interesting about that is that I ordered some gold a day before I ordered this, and it shipped a day late, which is odd, and it was not a pre-order item. And the way I screwed up, I had this shipped to my PO box, and I usually, if I have metals coming, um, it's never good to give up power. I agree with you, Mike. Usually, if I have metals coming, I will just use CS. I won't put stacker. I won't even put, or sometimes I'll use constitutional S, but I don't even like to do that. The reason being is security. Someone sees the word stacker on a package or metals or precious metals or what have you. If they're hip to what that is, you don't know that package is going to reach you untainted.
Right.
So I screwed that up. Thank God I got my package. Oh, that was quick. You're back.
Yeah, we got this down to a science. Plus, she gets to watch a movie while she goes to bed. So
That's a good deal.
yeah, I try to be fair. It's probably not the best thing. Like my son at his house with his mom, he doesn't get to watch shows when he goes to bed. So like when he comes over here, it's like the best vacation ever. You know.
Yeah.
So and she gives me the lead way to kind of do what I want over here, but I'm like I don't have a problem with it, and they don't stay up late. They pass out in like a half an hour. So
Welcome, Daryl. Thanks for coming in.
Daryl, welcome.
I'm pretty sure I do hear my niece in the background shaking her collar around. How's she doing? Tell her Uncle Constitutional says hello.
She's been in and out all day, and it's rainy, so it's been a muddy mess. She jumped on me earlier. I had to change. But she's been extremely playful because the weather's nice. After that snow, she's like, let's go outside, let's play. The weather's still decent. Because when that snow was here and it was super cold out, it was out, restroom, back. Like, I mean, it's don't close the door, just wait for me. I'll be right back. Like, it was kind of funny, but not because it was like every 30 minutes she wanted to go out there and see if it had gotten better, which it hadn't. So
yeah, I remember on your lives, like she kept you just getting up and out of that chair and letting her in and letting her out, letting her out, letting her in. It was funny.
well, I'm going to redo the back door, and I'm going to put in a doggy door too because she just wants to go in and out so much. It'll just be easier if she can just come and go as she pleases, you know?
Now I thought about that because you mentioned that before. Does it concern you at all that somebody might be able to gain access to your loot that way, though? Have you thought about that? Do you have a plan for that?
So if you get the really good ones, right? Because she is a big dog, I kind of get what you're saying. Like somebody may be able to crawl through. If you get
not
the
me.
good
I'm
ones,
fat, but someone skinnier.
yeah, a smaller person. They have like a steel plate on the back, right? Like on the inside. So, like at night, when you're not here and around or you're leaving, you take that steel plate, you put it in, and there's like a thing at the top where you basically lock it in. And
That's a good
so,
idea.
yeah, like some of the cheaper ones come with like or like a plastic plexiglass kind of plate, but the really good ones come with a steel plate. So it's, they're still going to have to break down the door if they want to get in.
Right.
So we were on reserve currency, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so our days are numbered. I mean, I hate to say it, and I don't like to be that way, and I don't know how long we have, but I genuinely feel like, especially with this digital stuff, like there's just too much. And after the Fed starts its descent with these rate hikes, the dollar's going to go down in value. If this digital currency's active, there's that, whatever that's going to look like. Financially, we're going to look real weak. And like you're saying, the BRICS nations are gaining power. And there was some talk, even, or conjecture maybe, but I could have swore I read an article about them discussing a gold standard for the
Uh,
BRICS. They were talking about it, or it had been brought up, or something. It was a topic of discussion at some point in the recent past. Man, I'll tell you, if
you
we're
got
the
you got
last
you got to see what
one,
Mike said in the chat real quick before he leaves. That's
what do you
awesome.
say? Woke up at 3 a.m. for the CS live, and now up late for the CS live. I need a nap. Great job. Well, thank you very much. That's very cool.
It
And
is, man.
yeah,
Appreciate you.
I caught it late, but I caught a little bit of their stream as well when I got up this morning.
So you talked about central banks and government stacking gold, and I forgot to mention this at the time. If you, and this blows my mind. I'm 42. I'm getting up there. I'm looking at homes with a nice view coming up, but I want to see the river. But I got some buddies that are late 50s, early 60s, and a lot of them kind of understand the value of metal, but not really. And it's funny to me because they came from a time barely when money was still money with silver coinage, and we had a gold standard. I mean, we got off the gold standard what 71, took silver out of our metal in 65. I mean, that's not that long ago, and it perplexes me.
There's a point though. So basically, and it sounds counterintuitive, but they took the silver out of the money, right? And they were unsure if that was even going to fly. That's why you had so many 64 quarters made, and why the halves after that were 40%, because at the time that was the workhorse of the economy, was the half dollar. And they weren't sure if it was going to fly, if the public would accept it. And so they made up a whole bunch of 64s, and they had to make them because they're silver on 64, and they kind of waited to see. That's why you can see, like, I was listening to a coin podcast, and they were talking about some guy had found a 67, right? Silver quarter. And his whole thing in this, I don't know, blog article or whatever they were referencing was, this is a 2 year old. Like, how did this get around the mint for 2 years? And they go, I mean, yeah, most likely, but yeah, more probably is that they were being made side by side. They were making 64s, is the story that I hear most, is they were making 64s after 64 to run out all the silver planchets because they had to. And they weren't sure if the public was going to accept this new clad currency. But
I didn't know that.
when you convince the public, right, and this is the crux of the whole issue, when you convince the public that, oh yeah, those silver coins, no, this one we made out of copper and nickel, this it's worth the same.
Well, and
And so
that's what,
then they equate silver to it's not worth very much. And back then, I guess reasonably that was kind of true. But what they haven't seen now, what most people don't see, that's why everyone uses the quarter gallon of gas analogy nowadays, where, oh, in 64 it could buy you a gallon of gas, today it can buy, because people lost that track of all that time frame where silver's price just steadily kind of inched up, inched up, inched up. And now people don't realize what silver's worth. And then they look at, like, I don't know, silver jewelry, and they go to a pawn shop and they get offered like next to nothing for it because it's sterling, it's not very heavy, whatever. And then that just reinforces it. Oh yeah, silver's not worth much. Now gold's worth a little something, but silver, who cares?
yeah,
Like,
because
that's
gold's out of the reach of most people, so that they want people to view it that way. Edward Scissorhands, your last two comments are 100% on point, by the way. I completely am on that page. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it perplexes me that the older generation has forgotten what real money is because they were around for it. The younger generation just doesn't know because they don't know. I know a guy that's pushing 60, and the day that gold hit $2,000 an ounce, because he knows I'm a stacker, I've known him for many years, and he's a Dave Ramsey student, so he thinks stacking is ridiculous. Dave's good for getting out of debt, not a whole lot more, in my opinion.
well
Maybe some real estate stuff, and maybe a big
well
fun thing.
it's a different form. Now, is he, but I will say this about Dave. He may not like stacking, right? He may not like that type of hedge, or some of us would call investment, whatever. But you got to understand, he's saying that from a totally different position, right? He
Well, sure,
has
because
millions of dollars in assets and real estate and investments and things. If everything goes to hell, he's still going to be able to make some moves and do some things and be all right. I'm not
because
saying he doesn't need it, but he'll probably be okay without it. He's
well,
one of
sure,
the few.
because he has physical assets like gold and silver in the form of real estate and things like that. But he's another classic example that perplexes me, that at his age he should understand what it is,
Okay,
and a lot of
so,
people don't, and it's frightening.
well,
If you go to the East, right? If you look at if you talk to people in like Asian countries, Middle Eastern countries, Mexico, even India, these people value gold and silver, and they have for generations. And even the new generations do. They understand it. We in the West, Russia, we in the West, we are so behind them in our understanding of physical assets, and I think that's changing, and I think that's great. Coin Junkie, welcome in. How you doing? Um, but it's a weird anomaly to me, and I think that ties into the fact that we've had that world reserve currency going on for so long that people have gotten comfortable and complacent, and they just don't remember, and they don't educate themselves, and it's their day will come. They will suffer, I
I
think,
I
unfortunately.
got an example for this. Okay, so, and this is actually kind of close to home. So my daughter's mother, right? Her sister, very lovely woman. Uh, she met a guy here. I'm guessing, I don't know if it was high school or college, somewhere around there. And they got together. Now he's from Turkey.
Okay.
Great guy. Obviously we're separated now, but I still know of him and things. And well, when we did talk, he's a great guy. Well,
Johnny, I knew he'd be here. Sorry.
there he
What's
is.
up, Johnny?
Good to see you, sir. But anyway, so they were together for a while. They still are. They're married now, but they had a kid, and Turkey is really big on family. And
Yep.
so the family was like, yeah, you should come here, which was funny because it was not the best time to be going to Turkey, but they did. for the wedding, and then they lived there for a couple years after. But like they were still kind of back and forth for a bit, so they didn't officially move there till a little while later. But when they went over there for her wedding, they did the wedding there, flew all of the family over there to Turkey for the wedding. When she came back, because they still had to tie up stuff, get all their stuff, move over, all these things. When she came back, it, my daughter's mom showed me pictures from the wedding, and her whole arm,
Yep.
okay, from
Gold.
here up past her elbow, was gold bracelets. They
Yep.
do not give you a freaking blender. They don't give you a gift card. They don't give you anything. It is gold.
Yep.
It's all solid gold. There's no 10K, no 14K. Don't miss me with none of that. No, it's all gold. And her whole arm was done up, right? I don't have all the exact details, but I know when she came back, even after declarations and whatever else, she bought a car with it. Cars aren't cheap. She paid cash outright, bought a car with it. I don't know what she had left after that, if anything, but that's what they do over there. They are financially savvy, and everybody knows. And that's so. Imagine that if you're over there, right? And all kinds of people, I'm sure that are getting married, and you're going to these big weddings and whatever. How many of these bracelets do you probably just have laying around because, there's going to be a wedding in 6 months. Oh, there's going to be a wedding in 3 months. They probably have like a substantial amount just chilling for the gifts, and that's not necessarily whatever they're holding. So when I saw that, I was like, we have to be the most financially inept country that I know of. Because around here, the only ones that have gold and things like that, it's jewelry for like flossing and stuff. I wasn't into stacking them. But now I kind of know there are some of us, we're just really quiet about it. But it's just not the same, right?
So 100%. And people are going to suffer for that. So Johnny said, oh, man, you're killing me, Johnny. He goes, just stack it. Are you here again? Jeez. Okay, Johnny. Disclaimer, I kind of made him do it. I kind of talked him into it. I'm like, come on, dude, let's do it. Let's do live. Let's do stream labs. And I'm going to spring something on Matt here that he doesn't know is coming. We're going to do a giveaway. And I'm going to give away a 1 ounce proof buffalo.
How do we do that in StreamYard?
Can you do that? Oh, I didn't think. Well, you do it all the time.
I in Streamlabs, not StreamYard.
Oh,
let me
see. I didn't think about that.
Let me see if I can pull it up. It might not be impossible. Let me see. I think I can get to this bot from here. Dun, 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 dun. I just got to try not to go live with another instance.
I didn't think about that.
Give me 2 seconds. I think because the bot's working. If you look at it in the chat,
and that's why I was thinking, because the bot is working. Can somebody ask?
I think I got it. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so I think we're going to give away, and I'm going to supply the prize. It's going to be a 1 ounce buffalo. It's going to be a proofy looking, shiny, encapsulated, beautiful, beautiful piece. But you guys are going to have to email me from my channel under my About tab your mailing address, whoever wins. What do you think?
All right, you'll have to put that in the chat then. But we'll do an 8-minute timer on that because 1 ounce, that's a bigger giveaway. So we will start to give away.
I'm not putting in the chat. I'm going to make them work for it. They got to go to my About tab. It's not hard.
Oh, wait. What do they got to do?
They got to go to my channel, click the About tab.
Oh, and get your email.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys got to work for this one just a little bit.
But I'm going to run the giveaway on the bot.
Yeah, and then they'll email me their address, and I'll get it out in the mail in the next couple days.
All right, giveaway open for 1 ounce buffalo from Constitutional Stacker. That's better than I normally do.
That's time for me to part with something for a change. You're always giving stuff away.
Well, yeah, but I keep my I don't know. I was looking at that. Like the mailings are a lot because I give away a lot of smaller stuff, but in the dollar amount, I'm still giving. I like to spread it a little bit, amongst the people. So I guess that's probably my crux of the issue. There is I do more smaller giveaways,
Nothing wrong with
but
that.
right, but yeah, things like 1 ounce. I mean, that's a lot to just not a lot to just hand out, but you can't obviously do that sustainably as
Siren,
often.
Siren goes, "Hey, not fair. Everyone is a moderator, and I can't time them out." uh, Siren,
uh,
you're up to no good. I don't know about you, kid. And listen, if you guys drop me an email and for some reason it goes into my spam folder, which I will be checking, and you don't hear back from me within a day, leave me a comment somewhere because that's purely coincidental. But I'll
oh,
make
they're,
sure.
they're gonna hunt you down for a free ounce.
That's
Are you
okay.
kidding me?
All right.
They'll find you. You'll
Oh,
be
Siren,
taking
you're
out the
killing me.
trash at work, and they'll be in the dumpster like, "Hey,
Hey, that's
where's
better
my?"
than the hobos that are usually back there. I'm not kidding, man. One of my employees dumped trash the other night, and there was some guy, just he was doing his thing. He had his needles out and everything. It's like, come on, man. And it's just
I only see 2 people in.
what?
So, yeah, the bot's giving you directions on how to enter the giveaway.
I
So,
know Roadhog was the first.
yeah, I see Henry and I see Roadhog. Siren, you gonna get in on this? You got 8 minutes. Well,
Johnny T,
5
let's go.
and some change, but get in
Josh,
on it.
Coin Junkie. Come on, guys. I'm giving you some wealth here at my
There we
expense.
go. Now I
Maybe
see
just paying the
Siren.
shipping. Siren was just crying because she can't time everybody out to even the odds. I
Right.
don't win giveaways anymore. Maybe I'll have to enter this one too. Maybe the bot will give me something.
I I'll say I usually don't enter unless it's something that, yeah, like I particularly would want to win. I generally don't enter.
Yeah, I usually don't either.
I
Sometimes I
mean,
do.
it
I do
just
on your
depends
channel
on
because
it just depends on what it is. I'm well on my channel. I'm giving away stuff you probably wouldn't buy on your own, like
no, but I
graham
really want one of those
bars.
copper bars, and I can't seem to get the bot to cooperate. But that's all right.
Yeah, I was making fun of you. I think last night when I was on there, I was like, "Oh, we're gonna give another way because Constitutional's not here." But I still got 5, 10 of them, or maybe 11, something like that.
I might have to buy one from you here. With
I
how
can't find who makes them.
Let's see, constitutional. Did you see my last comment? Let me go back. Go back. Yeah, giveaway 5. I see that, Johnny. Let me go back. Constitutional stacker, you suck. No, I'm just kidding. Constitutional, I think I saw him trying to chip the silver coating off the copper bars he was giving away.
Yeah.
No, I missed that, Johnny. Thank you for pointing that out. That's funny.
That's yeah, and then I'll paint them with silver spray paint from Home Depot. That's a good idea.
Donna, are
I
you in
get
the
at least a
giveaway or
couple
what?
grams. We're doing it. And it's just
I don't. Is Donna in there? Because she's in the chat, but I didn't see her entry. I see Da Vinci.
Donna, get in! Exclamation giveaway space 5 to get in. It's a 1 ounce giveaway from Constitutional Stacker here. Da Vinci's in. I see Josh, Coin Junkie, Johnny T, Siren, Henry, and Roadhog. Right now, we got 7. That's not hateful.
No, but there's 4 people that need to get on it. Because there's 11 in here is what I'm seeing.
Well, oh yeah, I don't know. I don't see my little ticker like I normally have, so I don't know how many people are here. I have to judge by the chat. Dada, if you want, I think you got about 2 minutes. Well, 2.5 to get in. What's an ounce going for right now?
I pay 27 for these buffaloes in
27?
LCS, but it actually dropped today. It was just under $24. That's
Mm.
okay because tomorrow's a new day.
Oh yeah, that's right. It did have a little 20-cent drop or something, didn't it? Oh
You
no,
know,
it's back up. We're back up to 23.60.
and that's the funny thing too about people to the east. A lot of them, the people in Singapore, things like that, they don't care what the price of metal is because they buy it at all prices. And guys, I'm kind of that way too. I may buy less when it goes up, but I just want it. I want it because I just, and I do have electronic things. I have some stocks. I have a Roth IRA, but the majority of my wealth, can't speak, truly is in physical metal. I'm an asset guy,
I
and
bet
so
Big
I,
Flip is lurking.
I align with people to our east and to our south. People in Mexico, they know.
Yeah, I look, if I'm buying, it's more about what it is, maybe I'm more enticed to buy if it's something cool or whatever. But in general, I judge my purchases mostly on what else I have going on. Do I have money at the current point in time to throw at something? And a lot of those times the cases is yes. So I mean I do. I actually haven't been to my LCS in a couple weeks. So I need to get over to him and see what's going on. Probably just,
Sure.
Keep up appearances and make some kind of a purchase. But
Okay,
like, I
hold on.
just buy.
Sorry. Okay, I'm reading the chat.
Yeah.
Donna's in. It looks like Donna did it. Now,
Yeah, Dada's in.
Edward Scissorhands says, I sent C-Stack an email. Is that how we enter the giveaway? No. Edward, type in exclamation point, giveaway, hit the space bar, and then hit the number 5. That's how you get in. You
Yep.
only email me if you're the winner. So maybe
Yep.
we can wait for him to get in.
Yeah, we got 30 seconds. If he's relatively quick, he'll get it. But if not, I'll hold it open for a second.
Come on, Edward. Exclamation point, giveaway, space 5.
Look at what Donna put in right below you.
Yep.
I like the
Streamlabs.
yeah, it's probably a larger silver giveaway or coins
How does
because
it
I was
know?
like, because it asks you when you set up the giveaway, what are you giving away? And I'm like, it's gonna be different all the time. So I was like,
Okay.
it's probably silver or coins. Okay, so I think we're officially up. I'm gonna resume entries. Edward, get in there.
Roadhog just told you what to put, Edward. Come on.
You can do it.
You can do it. And she says in the chat, yes, put it in the chat. Type it in the
Da
chat bar.
Vinci's in.
Da Vinci's a savage. He's always in.
Yeah, he's got it. There we go. Oh wait, nope. Close but no cigar. Exclamation.
John, find. I'll even tell you guys what it is. It's Constitutional Stacker 80@gmail.com. But it's on my page.
Hold on. Henry's already in, but I think they're trying to show Edward how to get it. Come on, Edward. We're waiting on you. Let's do it.
He might be making popcorn. I want popcorn. If Kendo was here, we know there'd be a grilled cheese in the kitchen being fried up right now.
I tell you what, I'm already thinking about another grilled cheese.
Dude, I was going to go shopping today, but I had to work longer than normal, and I was being lazy. Now I don't have the fat food I want. It's all right.
Okay. He almost got it. The space on the 5.
Yep.
Edward, the space on the 5. You're perfect. You just need to space the 5.
Yep. After you hit giveaway, hit the space bar and then enter the 5.
If he wins, it'll be so worth it.
It'll be epic. It'll be like the thing I won on Patriotic. I won a gram of gold on his channel that I picked up today. And I wasn't even going to enter. He said, no, you got to do it, man. I'm like, nah. He's like, no, I'll do it. I'm like, all right. And then I won. All right. It looks like Edward did it. Good job.
Okay, let me make sure he's in. He's in. All right. Close entries.
Ooh, drum roll.
Oh, look at that. The man himself. It should say it in the chat.
It's not. I don't see it yet. Who won?
Johnny T.
Johnny T.
All right.
All
It's
right,
good
Johnny.
stuff. Johnny will be able to find your email.
All right, Johnny. You got yourself a 1 ounce buffalo, Bubba. That's a decent day.
Oh yeah, that's a really good day.
Not for
Are you
me. Now I
kidding?
got to go to the LCS to replace it because I feel like I'm broke.
It's really hard. I was I want to talk about this.
All right.
So I love hackers. So remember I told you this is an offline conversation, and maybe some of you were privy to it, but I said I was having issues with my phone.
Hmm.
I had to flash it with new software. Now it's hacked, I'm sure, together from pieces of whatever, but it made the phone work. And I've been going over the last couple of days now. I've had this phone for like 4 years, but I if I missed this functionality and it was there before, I don't see how. But now I was going through it and this little notification came up and it said, connect your phone wirelessly to your PC. And I'm thinking, what's this about? Because I like stuff. And I'm like, okay. And so I did it. I connected it. It's so much better than I can even imagine. So I tested it out by putting something for sale up on eBay. And I can take a picture with my phone, pull up this app on my computer, and just drag and drop my photos of my phone can be in the other room. I don't even need it. Like here, hooked up, nothing. It's already connected. I have access to all my apps, all my text messages, everything on the phone is now on my computer and I can access it without touching the phone. It's
What?
nuts. Yeah. And so the best part about this, I'm thinking, I haven't done it yet with a large file, but like video transfers. I can, if I use the phone to actually film something, I can just boom, 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 transfer it over and it's done. I don't even need to like hook it up, do all this and well, no, it's all already there, just ready for me to transfer. It's crazy, and I'm 99% sure that wasn't there before I flashed the firmware. Basically, what I think it is they took the best parts of all the newer Samsung stuff and hacked it and reformatted it and stuff to be able to work on my phone. And so, yeah, it's got a lot more functionality that it didn't have before I updated it. So,
Can I interrupt you for 2 seconds? I'm sorry, dude.
no.
Sorry. Hold that thought. Johnny says, thanks so much. I'll send an email immediately. So it's going to come priority through USPS. Do you have a secure like lockbox or do you want a signature required? Just include any special instructions to make sure that you receive it, safely in the email. And I will provide you the tracking number because they'll give me one. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. At least somebody's keeping up on the chat, right?
I'm trying.
So, how much is your PO box?
Okay, so let me tell you a story about that. Okay, this was a whole snafu, and Silver, man, I got to tell you, a true champ is Silverstruck. He sent me stuff, and he kept getting it back, and here's what was happening. And then somehow he got my PO box number wrong backward. So he sent it like he sent me something like a third time. I got to do a mail call. I'm way behind, but here's what happened. So because I have a reasonable amount of bullion, even though I have a high quality safe and home security system, I didn't want to have things shipped to my apartment. Okay,
Right.
I didn't want to make that public, so I started using my mailing address at work. Well, and it worked for a while, but apparently USPS decided to be cranky, and because the company name is not Constitutional Stacker, they started kicking mail back, and things got lost or sent back to people. So I said, you know what? How do I called the post office. I'm like, look, this is ridiculous. They go, put your name inside the post or the mailbox so that we know. And I'm like, no, we're not. So I went down and I got a PO box. It's like $86 for the smallest one, every 6 months. So it's like 190 bucks or 180 bucks a year or something like that, 170 something. What's 80 times 2 is 16. So what is it? It's plus 14, so 160. So it's like 175 a year.
Jeez.
Yeah, for the small one.
But if it's larger than that, they hold the package, right?
Yes, 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 yes. I
Okay.
actually I got one today that was too large for the PO box, so I had to pick that up. Yeah, they do that. And so and here's the other thing. I work odd hours and I work a lot, as you know. And the post office, the lobby was 24 hours up until recently. I guess on camera they had a guy in there with a machete at midnight swinging it at people. So now they locked the lobby at 5, which is both good and bad. I mean, it's inconvenient, but at least I know someone's not breaking into my PO box in the middle of the night. You know, um,
Yeah.
and the ones by my work are starting to close too. I only know of one where I can like buy stamps 24 hours. So that's the world we
Hmm.
live in, kids.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'll have
But
to
I am
see
I
what
am in a
they're
state that kind
charging.
of rewards that behavior by not doing anything about it. So there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, email.
Huh.
Please notice it's in my girlfriend's name. This is
Yeah.
Mary. I'm assuming. Yep, I see it. Got it, buddy. No specials.
Johnny's got a girlfriend? I gotta step my game up.
Okay,
Jeez.
Johnny, got it. I will make sure. Oh, you're up in Van. Okay, all right, all right.
All right, Da Vinci, take it easy. Da Vinci's got a jet. So I'll have to look into the PO box. I will have to look at that because it's not bad here so far. I get a lot of packages and I've gotten them all, thankfully. But
Yeah, I sent you 4 ounces, and I was like, God, I hope he gets it.
yeah, I mean, it's just the distance between. Like, okay, here's one. I got new shoes for work. They're required. It's like work shoes kind of thing, and they. I was sitting here live streaming last night. They delivered them at like 8:30 at night. I got like an email notification on my work stuff, so not I wasn't checking it. And so like I woke up this morning, I'm doing a bunch of other stuff. I looked at my work phone and my email and I'm like, "What? Like what they delivered what? Like no they didn't." And I'm looking and then that's when I saw the time and I'm like I go to the door. I'm, getting my daughter ready for school and all this. Sat out there all night on my porch, just this big box of stuff. And I'm like, well, thankfully, I'm in a half decent neighborhood, I guess. But like I'm right at an intersection, well, close to one. So like any car pulling up would their headlights shine on my house. Like they can see there's a box just sitting there. I'm surprised it made it to the morning. I really am. But yeah, that's the scary thing is,
Oh, totally.
it's just right there. The sidewalk's not far. And some of these people get really brazen because you don't know what's in that package. It could be
Well,
nothing. It could be a $1,200 iPad.
I had some Gain laundry pods from Amazon stolen off my porch, so I started shipping stuff to work. And then last night, and there's not much crime here, but last night or night before last, I think, because I live in Oregon, so I get 10 cents for every can that I take in because there's a bottle deposit. So
Oh,
somebody stole like two big black trash bags of cans because at work I have a bin set up. So and everyone makes fun of me because I call it my retirement account. What they don't realize is I buy metal. It goes toward metal or stocks or whatever, and they think that's my only retirement account. That's the running joke. But yeah, some Jones are jacked two black bags out of my truck full of cans, probably $20. And the only reason they were back there is because they were wet from rainwater, and I didn't want to bring it in the house until I had a couple sunny days and get all the water everywhere. But whatever.
oh yeah. I mean, and like, so back in the day, I worked at a bar and I wasn't, as hip as I am now. I was much younger. Um, but I was in like the kitchen or whatever. And the guy, it was just a self run business. So the guy would have us do all manner of stuff. It wasn't, like you had job duties. It was whatever we said we were doing that day. And I remember like throwing out all the trash one day, and I asked him, I was like, dude, like I don't even think we have a deposit here, but you can still return like recycle the cans.
Right.
And I was like, dude, like you're not recycling all these beer cans at this bar? Like I don't know how much it is, but you obviously get more than the average place. And yeah, a lot of people do want bottles, but we still had a obscene amount of cans every couple weeks or whatever. Like, how are you not recycling these and getting that money back? He's
Yeah. I
just
mean,
throwing them out in the trash.
so I had $20 worth in the truck. I have another black bag in here. I got to put in the green bags. That's what they make us do. And I got like 5 green bags. I probably had like $75 worth of cans. I'm probably down about 60 now, 50 because somebody jacked me, 55 maybe. But I got to take these in, dude. My living room is gone. It's worth so much. Well, and their hours, I can't drop them past 10 o'clock because
Mm.
their little door isn't 24 hours, which it should be. Because it's like a key card access for like the little drop door,
Oh, okay.
But and you can only do 15 bags every 3 months. But there's a loophole. There's like a Fred Meyer has a bottle drop location. You can drop as many as you want there. It doesn't count towards the 15, but it takes them like a week to count them.
Oh, okay.
But it's just a matter of getting down there, dude. I mean, I work all the time. And then when I'm not working, I don't want to do much. It's either the gym or YouTube, you know. So, but I miss my living room, dude. So I guess it's kind of good that somebody jacked my cans.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's a lot to be said about. Well, look, like what? Isn't that? Didn't Dragon say that's how
Yep.
he got
Yeah.
started?
Well, because he lives in Oregon too. He's got a PO box out in Gresham, which is like 30 minutes up the road for me. So yeah, I mean, and he does that. He did that for years too.
Yeah, did you see this
I don't
on
know.
my post yesterday? I'm sure
Johnny,
you
I'll
did.
try to remember to put a channel sticker in with your package. By the way, I'm getting low, but I'll send you one. Oh, a silverback.
Yeah.
Now
The-
those haven't been out that long, have they? Because I
no,
haven't
they
seen them.
just came out.
That's what I
This
thought
is
because I've just started seeing them recently. Those are cool.
yeah. Mine's 35,528 of 100,000. They're not gonna. This isn't gonna go into production because the value just isn't
It's not
there.
worth the product. Yeah.
But it's more of like I think proof of concept, and it's just really cool for a boy, right? Like,
Yeah, that is cool.
I mean, you're kind of immortalized on something, for a YouTuber, even though he's one of the largest ones I know of in the
He's
silver
pretty big.
community. I mean, that's still huge.
Edward Scissors Hands. He's talking about the cans, the value I have in cans. He goes 1 gram of gold right there in cans. See, that's funny because that's how stackers think, right? It changes your whole mentality. I'm actually thinking about doing a video on that. When I buy something stupid, and I do it, I don't do it like I used to. I was terrible, you guys. I was so bad. You're
Mhm.
welcome, Johnny. But when I buy something stupid or I go out and I have I'm lazy, I don't want to cook, and I hit the watering hole on the way home from work, dude, this bar, I know them all. This bar, you can get a killer burger or a chicken breast over salad. Not like one of them fried ones, a grilled, skinless chicken breast over a salad. Phenomenal food until like 2 in the morning. So for a long
That's
time,
nice.
oh man. So for a long time, I'd stop there on the way home from work. I'm like, oh, I'll just pick up something to eat. And I realized that doing that a couple 3 days a week, you have a drink or two, like and a tip, you're out 50, $60. I was like, dude, I'm costing myself 4, 5, 6 ounces of silver a week here. It's just
Mm.
funny how stackers over time equate, value monetary value into ounces or grams. It's just it's a thing.
Yeah. And it's weird because my buddy back in the day, and he's passed now, but we were like landscaping,
Hear that?
which is like really hard work, and it's you start really early. So we were legitimately, I mean, we were younger guys, so we weren't living right, but uh we would go to like the gas station and pick up, well, whatever hot food or whatever they had, some energy drinks and whatever for the day, and whatever. And I remember him saying something one day, and he had been like tracking. This was sometime later, and he's like, I waste like hundreds of dollars a week just at the gas station. So he made this thing, and this is before stacking anything else. And he was just like, I'm gonna stop going to gas stations for anything but gas. Like, I'm not going in. Like, he would have other people buy him cartons of cigarettes because he was still smoking at the time. Uh, but like, he would do everything he could not to go in, because he's like, if I go in, I spend $20. And this was, cash was more prevalent. And he also made the statement about, once you break a bill, like if you have 100 in your wallet, once you break it, it's gone. Doesn't matter if you broke it spending $10. You might as well kiss the rest of it goodbye, because it's easier to be like, oh yeah, it's just 20. Oh yeah, it's just 5. Oh yeah, it's just another 20. Oh yeah. And it just disappears. So I saw that in him, and if honestly, if he was around today and in a better situation, he probably would have been a stacker, because he was able to make those connections and just kind of look at things and see where all his money was going. And especially nowadays with the subscription service lifestyle, that I will say, I think Fight Club kind of accurately predicted. They called it single serving, but that's essentially what we have, like a monthly lifestyle service. Dude, it's nickel and diamond. I don't have Netflix. I don't have Hulu. I have Amazon Prime, and that's because it does multiple things. It gets me packages fast. They have a video service, a music service. Like, it's not great, but they offer more for what I'm paying them versus any of these others. I can't stand a subscription service nowadays.
So it's funny that you use that landscape story, because I didn't know that, and I got to tell my own story about that. That's quite ironic. But first, we got to catch up on the chat. So Edward Scissorhands agrees with how we equate things to value in metal. Johnny says the same thing with people who buy Starbucks coffee for $7.50. Yeah, 100%. Johnny also wants to know, and I cannot answer this question.
I'm looking.
How much a silverback costs?
There's somebody selling one for 28 on Etsy, but I'm trying to go to Bullion Max right now. Hold on.
And
Etsy.
Henry wants to know why you think Dragons has contributed to the community out of curiosity, he says. So
how or why?
He says, just stack it. It's just out of curiosity. Why do you think SD has contributed a lot to the community? That's what he asked.
Oh, well, number one.
Keep looking up the price, though.
Yeah, number one, he was sorry. Yeah, you're right.
I'm throwing a lot at you, man. I'm sorry.
I think he was the first one when I started into stacking that I started watching videos. Oh, wait. It's Bullion Max, right? Are they sold out? I can't find them on their website.
I don't know. I just became aware of these like 3 days ago. I couldn't tell you, dude.
Okay, wait. Maybe I found it. Okay, yeah. They have them in some bundles, but one silverback, what I have right here, is $10. But they have a couple. You can get one in some bundles where you get some ounces and the silverback, so that might be easier to stomach. But
and what is the how much silver is in a silverback?
1/1000th, I want to say.
That doesn't make financial sense to stack those.
Yeah, 1/1000th of a troy ounce of silver, but it's the
for
form.
$10,000, you could get yourself an ounce of silver.
But it's the form on these.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same with the gold backs. They're not worth what they're printed on either. But
did Just Stack It forget how to read the chat? Johnny says.
Yes, I did. That's not surprising. But so he was the first one that I started really watching silver videos about. And I want to say he was the first auction that I attended. I don't think he was the first one I bought from, but I think he was the first auction that I'd like actually sit there and watch, mostly because I was looking at the hand pours and the different things. And just like, number one, he's been at it for a long time. You can tell by his voice. I mean, I think he's, guy, probably around my age. So that kind of gave me inspiration. And I think like it's mostly just his approach. It's really relaxed, and you can tell he's doing his best to blend some entertainment with the information. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call him like a funny man or any of that, but he tries to mix those two together, and I think he does it very well. And the fact that he sticks to his side, you don't really hear him talk about coins that much. I think he did one video maybe on like a slabbed something, and it was something that he got as a gift. And that's where I was, for a long time at first until I expanded out. But he's been at it a really long time. Anybody with that kind of dedication, and he's pumping out video after video. And, Constitutional and I were talking earlier about how, sometimes you feel like you're saying the same thing in like a video versus, another. And that can kind of get to you. And he, I think, keeps it fresh and informative and does a really good job. I think it's genuinely because he cares about the community and the people in it and trying to just educate everybody as much as possible from his perspective. So,
When I started stacking, I watched a lot of Dragons, Silver Slayer, Yankee, Silverfish VT, Sal, of course. I still, Sal is probably the biggest channel I watch regularly anymore. I love Sal. But Dragons did. It was 2018, 2019, I think. And you guys should all go check this video out. At first, it's kind of like, all right, where's this going? I think personally, it's the best video he ever did. I also like that he likes Warren Nichols at 40% because to him, silver, and I agree with that. But for the most part, I wouldn't have a stack of just Warren Nichols because you won't get a return on them. But anyway, I think the best video he ever did was called, I think it was called Cash versus Silver or Currency versus Silver. And what he does is he breaks down this chart with a Sharpie about cheeseburgers, what $20 would buy you in 1968, I think it was, versus an ounce of silver. And when he gets toward the end of the chart, it's like, whoa, it was genius. So if you guys ever get a chance, check that out. I think it was called Cash versus Silver or Currency versus Silver by Silver Dragons. One of his best videos, in my opinion. It really is interesting. Ash is welcome. Annette, hello. And that landscape story you told me, dude. Okay. This is when I got started stacking. It was 2008. Okay. I was working for my cousin. He had a landscape maintenance, mow, edge, blow, and go type deal. And I would go to work. I'd have water in my boots. I was cold. I was tired. I was terrible with money. And I would go to Winco, Cub Foods at the time, and I would buy like cases of top ramen for like $2.12, whatever it was. And I would see people in front of me that were buying steaks, things like that, and they were, using, food stamps or whatever. And I thought to myself, okay, how do I get myself in a position where I can eat like that? And my cousin who owned the company always told me, he goes, look, dude, you stop at every friggin' 7-Eleven we drive by. You stop at every friggin' gas mart we drive by to pick up snacks. He goes, you're burning your money up. And I didn't quite get it at the time. So I started packing a lunch. I started stacking, I started putting whatever I could away, which wasn't much. I mean, I'm talking, I was buying like little dimes of silver. And then I got to a point in my life where I realized I'm poor because I'm doing the wrong thing for the wrong person for a living. And I started working I got a different job. Then I got a second job on my days off. And I didn't think I was going to make any money. Once I realized I started making more cash, I just kept doing it. I mean, I've been working 7 days a week for years for the most part. I've had some stints where I didn't, but that's funny because I was told the same thing in the same industry. Dude, you don't pass by a convenience store. You're blowing your money. And it was true.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things with the convenience store was, man, and I remember this now, the gas station had their own brand of like energy drinks, and they were the cheaper ones. But they were like 2 for 3. So even if we just needed one, we always bought two because it was cheaper to that. And that's the illusion that they get people on
Yep.
is spend more to to spend less in theory, but it's not. It's definitely not. Like think about every single upgrade, whatever you're talking about. I mean, everybody opts out, I think, mostly of like the equipment protection programs that they try to sell us when we buy an electronic toaster or, whatever. I think the general public has realized those are probably not needed, but it's all the other ones that they don't. Even premium services. I signed up when I killed all the Netflix and stuff. Finally, I was just like, I only watch it to go to sleep. I'll watch YouTube to go to sleep. I pay for
Yep.
YouTube. Well, actually, yeah, I will say that I pay for YouTube. I don't have ads on YouTube. I haven't since they came out with. I think at the time it was called like YouTube Red or whatever. But I've been paying for YouTube for years. And
Wait a minute. Hold on. Is that the only benefit you get by paying for YouTube?
no, well, at the time there was like special content that you could access. I don't know what else is out there now.
Well,
Maybe I'm
I
sure
asked
there's
because
something.
I have ad blockers, so when I'm watching on my PC, I don't even see ads, and I don't pay for
Okay.
YouTube. So
Well,
that's your only
so
reason.
no, and here's the other thing with that. When you don't see ads, when you run an ad blocker, and this is not it's I'm not, downing on you for that. I'm sure a
I
lot
know
of
the
people
creator
do.
doesn't get ad
Yeah, the
revenue.
creator doesn't get ad revenue on that. So it's the double-edged sword. But it's like $10 a month. I'm sure there's other stuff that comes with it. I don't know what.
So that's why we don't
Oh,
want people
oh,
to do that.
here's
Ad
one.
blocker is not the way to go, folks.
Well, so yeah, hold on, we got to stop this right now. I'm about to get monetized.
I
No,
shouldn't have
but
said this.
so here's the thing. It's weird. There is one other benefit when you're on mobile, right? You have to keep your phone on, like the screen on, to play YouTube. I don't. I can black out my screen and YouTube will still play the audio,
See,
and
I
I can
hate that
listen
because I
to it.
can't do that.
Yeah, I can do that. I've had that ability for years, and I forget that other people don't. I will say this too: when you go back to what, like, I logged into one of the kids on the TV, right, and they were complaining. They're like, "Oh, there's ads," and I'm like, "Oh, what?" And it's because I won't let them mess up my recommendations, right? To to go through my stuff, right? I don't need all that in my feed, but like I was like sitting here kind of like watching them watch it one day and I was like, "Oh my god, these ads, it's like it's worse than TV was." The amount of ads they put on stuff. So, and some of them are long, like 30-minute ads like if you don't skip them. So, I'm like, yeah, so I will pay for some stuff, but look at what you're like. Take a strong look. My daughter, when I killed Netflix, she wanted to watch some anime show, so I signed up for like an anime thing that you pay for, and so she was watching it. And then like a month or two later, I was like, "Are you? Do you even go on this anymore?" And she's like, "No, you can cancel it." I'm like, oh, I mean, good that you're cool with it because I was going to do it anyway, but you could have told me this like a month or two ago before I spent like $20 on something you weren't using. Um, so yeah, I try to watch all that. But um, you said something earlier that I wanna double back to. So you
Before
were
we do that,
talking. Okay.
I want to give you guys a little carrot, okay,
Carrot.
on what you were just talking about.
24 carat.
No, it's not one of those, unfortunately. So if you guys want to cut your streaming service money down, Popcorn Flix, Flix, is completely free, and they have this is good, if not better than Netflix. And there's another one. It's tubitv.com, tubitv.com. That's also a free streaming service. I looked it up right now. I don't know if you guys heard that. Hopefully that the audio didn't come through. But those are two free streaming services that are actually really good.
Mm-hmm.
Popcorn Flix and Tubi TV, just so you guys know.
Yeah, I've heard
Anyway,
of
go ahead.
Tubi. I've heard of Tubi. I don't know about popcorn, but I'll look it up. So anyhow, you were talking about earning potential and getting another job, getting a better job. So, and this ties into a couple of things. So, Silver Dragons just did a video. Everybody's talking about this new AI bot thing that came out, and this just goes to show how creative I think he has become. He saw something cool, it's popular, a lot of people are talking about it, and he was like, how can I make this about silver? So he did it in a very simple and relatively elegant way. He went onto this AI bot that you basically ask questions, talk back. It can do a bunch of stuff. I'm not going to get into it. Look it up. But he went to this bot the other day. I saw this video drop and I had to watch it. He went onto this bot and was asking it about silver, silver itself, silver investing, what to stack, da 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 da. And it was giving good information, like spot on, like the bars versus rounds. It talked about, yes, this, yes, that, but you want to find the lowest premium stuff, you need to shop around online in person. It said all these things. And this is not a pre-programmed uh, response. It's gathered data from language and then uses that to formulate responses based on what it knows and what it's learned. So that was a pretty good video. And that showcases how he is completely thinking outside of the box, because I knew about that AI thing already. And I didn't even have a thought to be like, oh, I should take this and make a video out of it. And I would be sitting there and asking the bot, how do I make this into a silver video? Because I just don't know. And he just, bam, right on it throughout the video. I think the last time I looked at it, maybe a day or so ago, it was at like 13,000 views, I think, at the time. But again, it just goes to show how creative he is. But in that, you said earning potential. So I have this bot, right? I've been playing with it off and on to see what it can do. And I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding you guys. I want you to know that this is not a story for YouTube. It's not to make myself look good. It actually kind of makes me look dumb but smart at the same time. So I went on to this bot today, this morning, and I'd already been having some of these conversations with my boss about my wage, and I thought an adjustment needed to be made. I went onto this bot and I said, write an email to and insert my boss's name, one of my boss's names, the one that would argue this for me. And, I said, outline, that I'm looking for a wage increase, outline that I do this, this, and this, and I work on this many hours a week and on average. And I put all this quick information in, like in short form, half sentences, like looked like a kindergartner wrote it, put it all in there. Boom, it spit it out. Not even a minute. Just starts writing. Wrote the whole thing. I took it, copied it, got it over to my work PC, did a little quick editing on it, nothing too crazy, fixed, some little things here or there. Boom, send. I get a call from him a few hours later and we talked about it and he said, okay, I'm going to talk to him. A couple hours later, I get a call back. Yeah, they looked at your email. We talked about it. They do see that there's an adjustment to be made. Now I'm not getting rich overnight, but an adjustment's being made. I wrote that email from an AI bot. I just fed it a little bit of information, enough to be dangerous and to know the facts, and said, write this up. And it wrote like 3 or 4 paragraphs of hardcore justification why I needed a wage increase and worded it better than I would have. And in less than 24 hours, I got the confirmation that I'm getting the raise. Not only am I getting the raise, but they're making it retroactive. Not by a large amount, but I will get some of that back pay for that discrepancy from whatever that date is. But
See, and
I
that's
did
so
that.
awesome.
I did that from the AI bot that I saw Silver Dragons playing with, and that's why I was like, I know this thing could write emails and do other stuff like that. So I was like, I'm going to go in there and see what it comes up with, and it came up with something really nice.
See,
And
AI is so funny from a perspective of investment potential and from just overall potential. Like I would say, obviously not watching people like us because we teach things of value. Well, I mean, we do. We put out a good message. I mean, we're not, you know, gods, but we share valuable information and valuable thought processes. But like spending time on standard social media like TikTok and Instagram has dumbed us down as people. People want to send email after email instead of talking on the phone for a minute, and AI can potentially do the same thing or create something that will kill us. But if we're responsible as people, it can be very beneficial. And if we invest right in it, maybe we can make a profit. So AI and social media are such a double-edged sword. It's just a weird thing. I got to take an old man break, bladder break. Can you
yeah, I
hold the
got the
fort down
chat.
for a minute, man?
Yeah, Johnny said we talked the other day about a bot to alert me when the chat goes off, which is true, which is very true. It's a learned thing at this point. With my other channel that I had previously, it was a lot of times my live streams were literally just kind of reading the chat. Well, not exclusively, but yeah, I was better at it then. I'm not as good at it now. It shows. But thank you for that because I can't wait to hook up a device that shocks me. Um, but yeah, I genuinely mean that. I got the call earlier that it went through. They're making it retroactive. It's not a huge increase, but it's an increase. That's money that I didn't have. And I had the bot write it for me. I just fed it basic information about what I wanted, like essentially an outline of the information that I wanted to include, and it wrote all the rest of it. And apparently, compellingly enough, to where in less than 24 hours, not only did I get a positive decision, but I got it retroactive for a little bit. So some of this stuff is going to be interesting. And if this is where we're at now, and how fast technology grows and accelerates, where are we going to be at in like 5 years, 10 years? I mean, if the thing can program, like legit program for you, you tell it what you want to program and it will spit out code. So once the physical AI meets the technological and not sentient, but it's scarily close. Once those two merge, it is going to be iRobot in here. Like people are going to have robotic servants doing things at home. Like I think we probably will see stuff like that in our lifetime. I mean, you already have like a Roomba, right? But that's slightly different. I mean, like an anatomical humanoid robot walking around doing stuff for you. Because this AI technology wise is very smart, and then you the robots themselves, the physical ones, are getting better and have been getting better. So once those two, it's Terminator, y'all.
All right, I'm back. Do you
Welcome
see
back.
that? Thank you. Do you see that, Johnny? Do you see that buffalo sitting there? I washed my hands first after the restroom. Okay, just so you know. But the safe happens to be by the restroom in my bedroom, and I pulled out that buffalo because it's leaving the stack and going into yours. It's a
That's
pretty
nice
one.
too. It's a proofy. Whoa.
Yeah, dude. I get these from the LCS all the time. I really like them. They're just beautiful.
Yeah,
Way
I
cooler
don't.
than regular buffaloes.
I like those better than the ones with like the machine surface.
Me too, 100%. So, Johnny, that's going to your stack, brother. What up, Mello?
Mello's here. You're not
John,
late. You're always on time.
Johnny won the giveaway. I'm giving Johnny this buffalo, Mello. What do you think?
My household already has me, and it says in regards to robotic servants. Um, yeah, so it'll be real interesting to see how there's so much going on in the world. Like we were talking about the financial and the governments and the shifts of power that we perceive may be happening in a hopefully not the near future, but there are so many things going on. I mean, I know the world's a faster pace now, but
You're welcome,
it's
Johnny.
just crazy.
Happy to do it, brother. You support me. And Frostbite, welcome in, brother.
Oh, Frostbite's here. Welcome. Good to see you.
Speaking of giving stuff away,
What are you doing?
what are you doing? You gonna give?
Oh,
Gonna give one of my copper bars away that I want to the folks? I don't
yeah,
know.
we could. Well, now that I know that the actual giveaway thing works, yeah, we can do that. But we'll sweeten the pot because
Oh,
that's I don't know. The copper bars are nice, but
yeah.
I always
Save those for constitutional. I gotta win at least one.
what's that? Oh yeah, you'll get one. What's that? That's a
So
40. That's a decent 40. I don't know why it's in a flip, but
is it a
we'll
big
throw a
flip or little
40
flip?
and yeah, it actually did come from Big Flip.
Dude,
Like
you and me still got squeaky chairs. I got some WD-40 sitting here and I haven't sprayed it down. Every time
it's
I'm
not
like, oh,
it's not the mechanism. It's like the wood and the screws and the connection. And this chair, I have another one, a better one, but I can't fit it back here because it's like an executive office chair because I sit in it for hours and hours a day. So we got to deal with it for a while. So what we'll do here, I know that camera, the other cameras I'm used to aren't working, but it's gonna be. Let me get back so I can see what the camera's showing. It's gonna be this. If it's not gonna focus well. It's a 40% 1969 Denver,
ooh.
and one of these silver-plated copper bars. It looks like a $2 bill. It's kind of proofy too. There you go.
That's
It
cool,
actually
dude.
focused. So we'll give both of these away to the same person. I will start to give away same way as last time for those of you that are familiar. Exclamation giveaway space 5 Edward if you're still here. Well, he eventually got it last time. He just didn't win. Johnny
Yeah,
T was the
he
lucky
worked hard
one.
for that, man.
Let me get my post-it notes ready, and then
Johnny's gonna sit this one out because he's a good sport, and
oh, that's nice.
he must be happy with his Buffalo win if he feels the need to, if he feels okay sitting it out. So that's cool.
I cleaned up the garage and hung some new lighting to try to brighten that place up for filming. And while I was out there, I found like a stack of these smaller Ziploc bags from other purchases that I had apparently, I don't know, I'd filmed something out there and left them. And I was like, oh, I needed more bags. There's just a stack of like 10 or 20 of them. I'm like, cool. I need those. But I put a new light out there. So hopefully when I film out there, I won't have as much trouble because I was really unhappy with the lighting situation. So now hopefully it'll be better. I still got to test that out. But somebody talked me into a live stream.
No, Johnny, I'm not a numismatic guy. I wouldn't send that for grading. If I had a numismatic, I might. But thank you. But no, I'm not. That's good to know. I learn something every day. Sorry, I'll set
Send
my
what?
trap.
Silver plated
You saw it.
details, silver scratched off. Yeah. Spray paint from Home Depot. So you guys got a little bit of time here, minute and a half. I see Mellow, Roadhog, Josh, Annette, Frostbite. And these bars are cool. I actually, before I give them all away, I have to set a couple aside. One or two for me, and probably at least one for Constitutional before they all disappear.
Streamlabs is talking to you. It says, "I need to be added as a moderator to post links."
Yeah, I know, and I can't figure out it. No, it's not. It's is a moderator, but it's using my real name
Yeah.
associated with my Google account. That's the most concerning thing. And I can't find anything anywhere to stop that from happening.
Remember what I told you about AI being the death of us, possibly? There you go. You're out in the public eye now, brother.
Well,
Johnny's feeling lucky now. He's a gambling man tonight.
well, I've said it before too. If somebody comes to my house, like taking my silver is not their biggest concern, or whatever they might be here to do. Now, if you just want to say hi and have a cup of coffee or something, yeah, cool.
Totally agree. You don't want to come into this house.
Yeah,
I've always said, if I'm here, you don't want to come here. If I'm not here and you set off my security system, you better hope the cops beat me here. They're
right.
going to be a lot more forgiving.
You need to log in with your other account and reinstall the bot. Log in with my other account and reinstall the YouTube account, Frostbite.
I think he's talking about your Google account.
I only have one. Well,
no, you got an email.
I have
from
two. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because see, my constitutional stacker email was popping my first name or my first and last name off originally. I had to change that. I'm like, yeah, no. So, yeah, your Google's linked to two accounts. Yeah, that makes sense. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
And that's what it did to me with my Gmail. It showed my first and last real name from my first channel that was a complete flop. And I had to figure out how to change it. I don't remember how I did that, but I did it.
Thank you, Frostbite. I might actually, man, see? Okay, AI is not smarter than us yet. We still need each other to learn from.
They got the younger generation. It's got the younger generation beat already, I think, though.
Oh yeah, they're done for.
They're done.
Okay, so here we go.
Or some gaming service, they're done.
Oh, look at that! It's your boy.
Who won?
Mellow. It's
Mellow won?
Yep.
Mellow.
You got a 40%er and the silver plated copper bar. But the cool thing about the copper bar is it's actually 1 troy ounce, which most of them are not. They're the AVDP ounce or whatever that's called. So, congratulations. You have to now
here's the string.
Enter. Now get this email that it's going to spit out in a second and send me an email with your address. And that's going to you when I send out all the rest of this happy stuff that's piled up over here for mailings.
Speaking of which, I picked up stuff at my P.O. box today. I haven't opened any of it. I got something from you. I wonder what I got.
Wait, from me?
Okay. Yeah, I did open up my hero delivery because there was 14 ounces of silver in there. I opened up one thing, but I didn't open up anything from YouTube channel.
Is it a bubble mailer?
You're gonna make me work for it here, aren't you?
Is it like a package or is it a letter?
Oh no, it's a big package, dude.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's gonna be.
I know what this is. I can feel it. That's that slab, isn't it?
Yeah, that slab's in there. You got other stuff in there too, though.
Oh, dude, that's a slab Benji.
Yeah, so you have a nice one, and you don't have to go out and buy one. You have one.
And I sent you 4 ounces, so for this. Is that fair? Are we square on that?
Oh God, yeah, way over.
I don't know about that. You put me up with some giveaways, so
you want them. If you win,
yeah, but you don't have to do anything. Just like these people don't have to spend their time watching us, but they do. So
I don't know why.
It's
It's probably for the decor in the background.
They're very generous folks.
I will say this. I'm having a hard time. I'm going to have to redo this. This thing does not want to stay on the wall. I don't know what it is about its clasp or whatever. I'm going to have to redo it, but it does not want to stay on the wall. It's fallen twice.
Johnny says everyone's always afraid of all the new self-drive cars. I know I am. Of course, I'm also afraid of the manual drive cars. People are stupid. But most of all subways in large cities are run by computers. You don't realize that your lives are in the hands of electronic motherhood or motherboard. Yep, it makes sense.
Well, I think one of the scariest things, and it may have been Musk that said
Frostbite.
this.
Frostbite. Sorry, dude. I just saw that. I couldn't hold back. Go ahead.
Oh my god! Oh, that's
Woo! That's
that's
epic.
hot. It's getting hot in here. So one of the scariest things I remember someone saying in regards to like AI and self-driving cars and all this, the direction that we're heading, and it might have been Musk or it might have not been, I don't know, but somebody said like uh so they were having like a back and forth and they're like, well, you realize like these technologies are going to kill people, and he's like, yeah, like the technologies we have kill people all the time. People get hit by cars and reckless drivers and things all the time. Like, yes, AI
We'll take shots at
cars
the
are going to hit
on
people.
them.
You know, it's going to happen. People will die from this, but it's in the name of like bettering so that in the future, those things happen less. And I was like, it's a really morbid way to look at progress, but at some point, you kind of have to because like
True.
look at the industrial revolution, dude. So many people got tore up in machines and did fell from stuff, iron workers and different, they were up there without nothing, just walking on beams. Who I can't get, I do get in lifts and do some work and things like that from time to time, and I tell you, I feel uneasy still when I have a harness on, you know what I mean? So I can't imagine like an iron worker being up above a city, just walking around, sitting up there eating their lunch, doing their thing. Like it boggles my mind, you know? And yeah, a lot of people have to, you know, unfortunately suffer accidents and things for us to learn how to
Yeah.
make things better. I mean, that's just kind of the way it is. Heck, half the time you don't even know it's unsafe until something happens and you find out, right?
Look at asbestos, man. They thought that was the best thing in the world for years and years and years because of all that it did. And I mean, yeah, perfect example.
Yeah, what was the big thing with that? Like it was like really fire retardant, I think.
It was fire retardant. It was a great fiber. It made a bunch of different things. I actually have a friend, my buddy that might inherit this mine. His wife teaches asbestos removal certification, and dude, this stuff is gnarly. Like I was at the office the other day, just visiting, saying hello, and this stuff will react to the electrical impulses in your body when you like touch it through plexiglass. It'll stand up, the fibers, but the
Of
fibers are
this
strong. Yeah, yeah, dude, because it's a mineral, right? And it just does all kind. It did all kinds of weird stuff. I mean, it was a great, like they used it in. They have all these old products. They used it in cigarette filters. They used it in some medical stuff. They used it in like that plumber's glue and the HVAC glue, that they put on the pipes. They used it for all kinds of stuff. They used it in like medicines. It was crazy, and nobody knew. They used it for blankets. It was nuts. It was in everything, man, and nobody knew. It's like what you said. I mean, that's the learning curve.
Yeah, give me just a second. Mello was saying he sent me an email and I'm not seeing it yet.
I have his address on some mail he sent me, a return address. If you
Yeah,
want to
if
send
it
me
gets
up
real
there, but
hairy, but either that or my phone's just
Mello,
being
is that the
slow.
same address that you want used in case he doesn't get it for some reason? Because I can just text it to him if it gets to that point.
Yeah, well, we'll figure it out. Maybe my phone's being slow. I'm not sure. But I don't see it in my box yet.
So here's a funny story for you guys. Before we decided to do this live that I kind of pushed him into, he's like, yeah, we can go back and forth for, 20, 30, 40 minutes, whatever. We're at an hour and 54 minutes coming up.
Are we really?
Yeah, 153.58 right now,
Oh
according to
man.
StreamYard. 154. New milestone, baby.
I mean, it happens. Like sometimes when you get
Oh, he got a
running,
new PO box.
I just got a new PO box. It's okay. We'll figure it out. If
You can,
anything, it sounds like
you,
Constitutional has your email. I
Well,
don't
and
know.
you can just Instagram me if he doesn't get it, Mello, and I'll just forward it to him through text or whatever. No big deal.
Yeah, we'll get it. It's got your name on it. It's not going nowhere. I still got one from Grey Wolf Stacker. I
Did you
don't
ever
even
get
know.
his info?
No, I haven't seen him.
I haven't either. I wonder what's up.
I don't know. He's got a Barbara Dunn in here
Oh, maybe I'll go
and a
on his channel
Graham.
and drop a comment to him, telling him to get in touch with you or something.
Yeah, I mean, there's no rush. I mean, I'll get there. Yes, I probably will soon. But yeah, like I kind of thought the same thing. But
Hope he's all right.
yeah, right. I mean, yeah, sometimes it's that too. Like life gets in the way, right? You get busy or other things come up, and that's not the first thing on your mind.
Yep. So I've noticed that Mellow has been growing. Uh, Silver and Cigars has been growing. I think that's great. A couple of weeks ago, I was going to quit. I was done. I told you about that, didn't I? I
Yeah.
was salty. I was mad, dude.
Well, and you got to look. The journey is different for everybody, and I tend to think in most things I have a plateau, right? Um, like I said, I've said a lot that I know a lot about a little bit about a lot. Jack of all trades. I'll never probably be one of these flashy YouTubers with like all this stuff going on. I mean, if I get there, it'll take a long time, and by then I'll probably still be behind the curve. But like, look at people like Veteran Metals, right? He's growing at an astronomical rate, and he's killing it with his videos. The
He's a
editing's
genius.
on point. The thumbnails look a little busy to me, as far as because I've always heard like you want to keep the inputs on the thumbnail at like as few words as possible, like 4 or less. I think I heard at a couple different points. So like I'm not gonna say he's breaking rules because there are no rules, but his look a little busy, but they're working. So then that tells me too, like, okay, well maybe I need to like rethink some of mine. And you've
Right. It's
put
working.
me on to Canva,
Yeah. And
and
and my next video thumbnail came from you from Canva. Thank you, because you're more creative than me.
I'll show you how to work that a little bit. I will tell
That'd be cool.
you they have a mobile app. I
Oh, I should
like
probably download that.
I like doing it better on the computer. I will
I like
say that.
everything better on the computer. I'm a
Yeah,
dinosaur.
well, no, it's just when you're messing with small stuff and it's very sensitive on where you touch to what response you get, and so
Johnny.
it's still possible, but
And then
you get
Mello,
the
I'm saying basically with my channel, yeah, but dude, you don't have to do anything because you're like, hello, it's Mello, and I'm back with another video. I mean, that's all you need, bro. You seem good.
yeah. Yeah, and I try not to put too much thought into it. I still want to make good, informative videos, and not, my camera's there, so I can't show you. My desk looks like a coin bomb went off on it. There's stuff everywhere. Quarters here in a bag. I don't know what those are. Stacks of quarters, pennies, wheat pennies, gold coins, just chilling. Like there's stuff everywhere. So that's you don't want to show that on a video. So I am conscious about some of that, but I'm not putting a lot of effort into it. I don't even have the space. The amount of rearranging that I had to do just to get a wall behind me with some stuff on it was astronomical. And
Yeah,
I
dude,
paid
that thing was bare not too long ago, wasn't it?
no, it wasn't even there. I was faced the other way. You saw my living room.
Oh yeah, with
Remember with the Christmas tree
yeah,
in the back?
yeah.
Yeah. So it's I had to move just to do this, and now my living room is this odd shaped walking pattern to get anywhere, but it works. And my kids don't complain too much. Who was in here numbering quotes from Just Stack It? I like to do it better on my computer. So there's a way you can do that in Streamlabs. Commands. I think it's like add quote or something. You can do like add quote and then you can type it in. Ruler was the one doing it, but everybody can. Here, I'll do it for you.
Yeah, and while you're looking at that, talking about keeping channels basic, I mean, yeah, veterans channels really, really like flashy and grabby. I like it. His intro rocks.
Oh
But then
wait,
you got guys like Sal, right? He's got his intro, but Sal's videos, like he doesn't do all that flashy stuff, and he's closing in on 60K. He may already be there, and he's just one of the best channels of all time, in my opinion. So
he
whatever
he
works.
was one of the ones that commented on veterans video or his post rather that not only is he killing it, like Sal talked about the time that he'd been here, he'd seen channels come and go and those kinds of things, and the small channels grow into big channels. And Sal and another very popular YouTuber who I won't name just because, both said you're beating out the largest channels in
Yeah,
terms of like views, like when the video first pops or whatever. So, I mean, that says something.
but then there's the flip side, like small non-flashy guys like me must be doing something right because Crazy Legs Life, okay, on my last actual non-short and non-live, which was the one about this won't save you. This guy posted on and I pinned his comment. He says, "Hey, my brother in silver, you influenced me to start a stacking channel, the Silver Chair Stacker. By the way, I went and subscribed. I'm number 2. Maybe you guys can go subscribe to the Silver Chair Stacker. Excuse me." He goes, "I am aiming at fixed low income people. Thanks for being such a cool dude." I believe he's in a wheelchair, and he's focused on stacking on a fixed income. But see, even a small non flashy channel like me, I must be doing something right if I'm getting emails from people asking what to do with this or that and influencing people. So whatever you're doing, if it works, it works, and I think that's awesome, and I think it's great to influence people. So Silver Stair Chacker or Silver, I don't know why I can't say that. Silver Chair Stacker. I'm number 2, and I hope we get number 3, 4, 5, and 20. So
Yeah, that's the thing is like with me, I'd started stacking and then getting around and flip when I was doing giveaways on his channel, just being generous. I had the money to spend, and you know, I had done it on other channels too. Um, was giving stuff away, and he was sending people to the Just Wrench It channel, which is fine. But I was like, I'm not making stuff over there. I haven't in a couple of years now. Um, Hold on, I'm gonna try to get this quote to work.
Mello asked how I liked StreamYard. I love it. Now that I figured it out, mostly not as good as Matt, but I
Oh,
figured
you
it's
can
cool.
do a lot of stuff. You can add banners and like make it pretty and do all kinds of stuff. It's just like there you go. I got it. I figured it out, Johnny. I got the quote in there for you. So, um, yeah, like he was sending people over to the Just Wrench It channel, and he's like, "Oh, in case you ever start making videos again." And I was like, "Yeah, but I thought about that, and I'm like, I don't want to do the wrenching videos anymore. I still do the work, but I realized that
Beer stain.
input versus output do not correlate." So I was like, "Oh, well, I'm stacking, and these everybody's doing these stacking channels." I was like, yeah, I could give that a go." And I was looking at my metrics just to kind of compare the two channels a little bit. And I know there's shorts now, which I wasn't doing shorts before. They were there, but it was real early on in that time frame. But I noticed I'm getting better results. Not that that matters. Like you should just switch up, but you know, I'm getting better results on this channel per like views and consistent viewers and growth. Way better than I was getting on my other channel. I don't think I looked at it. I don't think I ever hit over like 800 views in a day on my other channel. And somewhere around the time that I'd kind of like hung up my hat, so to speak, I think I'd been at it like 3.5 years, almost 4. So if that gives you an idea, and that's not to say, that maybe one niche is better than another, but I think it kind of goes to the community over here, how welcoming people are, and some of that, and how yeah, a lot of people don't want to watch the flashy videos. It's all in different strokes for different folks, right?
Because I feel like when, and don't get me wrong, flashy videos are super entertaining, but when someone's just basic and spitting it out there and being 100, I think people can pick up on that too. And Mello, are you thinking about getting StreamYard? Because I think it'd be fun to do a live, man. Um, I have a story about a live, if y'all want to hear a personal story. If you do, I'll share it, and I'll tell you something I haven't publicly told anybody. Um, but yeah, in the chat, if you want to know about my first experience and the truth that I have been hiding, I'll tell you. So let me know. I'll get personal for a minute.
Uh-oh.
It was nerve wracking. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Frostbite says he doesn't need Flash. He's just here for community. And I mean, and really that's it. Like when I go, like, okay, so I was toying with the idea earlier of making like a gold prediction video for the coming year. And I worked on some talking points and some stuff like a couple of times, tried to revise it, read some articles, analyst information, and different things. I probably put like, I don't know, maybe an hour into trying to like storyboard like a little bit of a video, like, okay, like how viable is this concept? And I just couldn't get anything on there that I don't think that anyone with half a brain could have come up with. You know what I mean? So I don't want to do a video telling people what they probably already know. You know, if I can't really offer something, I guess is the short point, that I probably won't do a video on it. Just like I will probably, actually, I know I'll never do like a full stack video. I don't
I won't
think
either.
I don't
I have no
think they're helpful. I don't think they're encouraging. I think it just reminds people of somebody else is further along than them in their journey or has been at it longer or whatever. I mean, it's cool to see large stacks, don't get me wrong. And I do watch some of the videos. I'm saying me personally, I know when I watch those videos, I just like I'm done. Like, what am I doing? I'm never gonna get to that, and I probably will eventually. But when you see that as like a newer stacker or somebody starting out, you're like, you're looking at your stack of quarters or whatever you just picked up, like, and this dude's got a whole table full of constitutional and ounces and eagles and bars, and it's like, it. I don't know. It's. I guess it depends on how you take it, but I didn't take it very positively, and I don't want to put myself in the position to make somebody else feel that way. So I'll
it,
do videos with stuff out, but I don't feel the need to stack it high and put that all on camera.
it's so funny you bring that up. And Frostbite, I loved that movie too. I know exactly what movie that quote came from, and you're right. Um, I've been thinking about doing a full stack video, and I fully agree with what you just said. Oh, my mail just fell. The only caveat to that I would say is if I ever did one, and I don't have a plan to do it, it would be a motivational, like, hey, listen, I was broke, couldn't save 2 dimes. It started with this. It changed my mindset. I got to this. You can do the same thing. But I kind of agree with what you're saying. And the other reason I don't want to do a full stack video is I have some kind of mental disorder, maybe. I like the bigger my stack becomes, and I'm going to do a video on this, and you already know that because you sent me the thumbnail that you made. Thank you for that. I'm going to do a
Right.
video on this. The bigger my stack becomes, the smaller it feels. So at one point, I was like, oh, I'm getting a pretty big stack. And in the grand scheme of things, it probably is. It's not a big gold stack. I'll tell you all that right now. But silver wise, it's pretty sizable. But it's not the biggest stack out there by far. Like, I see these guys putting their stuff out. I'm like, oh my God. So it gets into my head
Savage.
about how small it feels, you know. And I
Savage
don't.
gets me every time with those pyramids
Mhm.
of bars. I'm like, I have stuff, right? It's not a dollar for dollar thing, but I have a high dollar amount in metals and coins and things now, but I can't make pyramids out of bars.
Yeah,
And I'm
I've got
upset.
I've got size envy. I don't want you guys to see how small my stack is, you know.
Well, and that's the thing though. Like, who was it? One of these guys, and oh god, I can't think of the name. There's so many, it's hard to remember all of them. Uh it's a guy I watch. I don't even think like he necessarily hangs around. But he did like a 1 year stack, kind of like I've been stacking for a year and this is what I got. And that was cool. And so like a year wrap up or something like that, kind of cool. I don't know how I could keep track of that, but
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the other thing too. It's like I just throw it all in tubes, or I stack the bars on. It's like I don't know, what
Or
did I
the
use that?
coin roll hunt finds. Like I thought about that just the other day. I was like, oh, like I should try to keep every, and then I immediately was like, who are you kidding? There's no way you're gonna be able to keep that straight like over a year. Like everything I found in rolls was no. I mean pennies, I guess I could not include them and only include like silver. But even then, I guess I could do like a jar or something, but I want to put stuff in flips and other things, and I don't know. It just wouldn't work with my organization.
And it's funny you touch on that because my stack is so disorganized, not in the physical sense, but like so. AppMex has this feature, right, where it tracks your bullion purchases, and you can like have this chart. Okay, well, and I used to do that religiously. I used to dollar cost average. I used to figure out what my average, stack was, or my average price per ounce was. I knew to the gram what I had, and then some things happened, and I overextended myself, and I had to sell an ounce of gold and like I don't know 300-400 ounces of silver at one point. So I stopped doing that, and I replaced all of that and then some quickly because it killed me. But I stopped keeping track. Like if you ask me, I can tell you how much gold I have. And I'm not going to tell you because it's embarrassing.
Right.
But if you ask me how much silver do you have, I couldn't tell you. So my stack is so it's organized in tubes and stacks in the safe, but as far as like on paper, if the organization, it's not there anymore.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just I don't know. I can't keep track of it. I don't know what I have.
Hello, Doc. Welcome in.
I'm in the
I'm
savages
sorry,
piece.
Doc, the Doc, not a Doc, the Doc. Um, mine, like, dude, I can't keep track of my packages. I was buying a lot this year. Most of you know, um, and a lot of different stuff. I got bored with stacking. So I expanded into coins and some other things. I got a lot of slabs and different things. I was going through the safe the other day, reorganizing and stuff. I have stuff in there I forgot I even bought. Like
Yeah.
I don't know I have. Like, and that's the other thing. I've bought stuff because I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like I want one of those. I already had one. Like, like I mean, I thought it was cool once. Now it's cool twice. But I mean, it can happen. I did the spreadsheet thing for a while, and it was really cool. I had formulas on it, and it was all set, and would tell you like how much actual silver weight you had in your 90% and everything. It had totals for silver, gold, all the ratio of gold to silver, had everything, but I couldn't find the time to keep up on the document. I was spending hours here, not even on the physical organization of it, but trying to catalog everything, and I eventually just gave up.
Yeah, totally. And Mello, you're right. It is a pain, dude. Like sometimes I show a lot of the same stuff just because I don't want to dig to the back of the safe. I don't want to move all my Second Amendment tools out of the way to get to the back of the safe. I don't want to lift the bank bags. I don't, dude. Like I just don't
You,
want to do it.
you got bank bags?
Well, okay.
Like the old burlap ones or the zipper
Oh,
ones?
okay. I've got a 100-ounce bar sitting in a burlap bank bag, but I guess what I meant by that was like those. Yeah, exactly. The fireproof ones, like they look like that, and it's just like, dude, that's buried under like 3,000 rounds of 5.56. Like I don't want to do that, and like 2,000 rounds of 9 mil. It's a pain in the butt.
This may be controversial,
That's
but
usually everything is, especially if you're telling the truth, which we do.
didn't trade, but well, yeah, I guess essentially. Um, I took a bunch of 7.62 in because I don't have that caliber. And so I had a bunch of it right there where ammo was getting scarce. I was buying up pretty much whatever. And so I had a bunch of it. I found some people that wanted some of it. So it was like, I don't know, like a half a box or something, like a big box, not a little box. And so I had all this and I was staring at it and I was like, back to your thing earlier about seeing value differently. I was like, I don't even have anything to use that for. Like, yes, in the right situation, it could, but like for now, I'm going to trade that in for silver. And I did. I went and I traded it in and walked out with ounces of silver instead. Now, I still feel good because, I have other things instead of that I can use. But, I was like, it's just sitting there collecting dust. Like it might as well, if it's going to collect dust, it may as well collect some toning while we're at it, and it's
Brother, I'm
silver.
sitting here collecting dust and toning.
Yeah.
No, I get
So
it. So the doc just asked a question that I want to touch on. The doc asked, anyone selling in these highs? Okay, now let me preface this by saying two things. Number one, I'm not telling anyone to do this. I'm telling you what I would do in this situation. And number two, I missed the boat back in the day by not stacking these. Now,
yeah,
I'm not selling anything. I'm buying, I'm buying, I'm buying. And I'm buying not out of FOMO. I have fear for where the dollar's heading, but I'm not buying out of emotional fear. I'm buying out of calculated fear. Now, I didn't stack a lot of ASEs. Truth be told, I probably have 10 to 14 in my stack. Maybe. I've sold a few. Now, I didn't stack them because at the time I thought to myself, okay, why would I pay $2 or $3 more for these back when stacking them was cheap, when I can get, more buffaloes, more sunshines, whatever. Okay. I missed that boat because nobody saw the premiums going through the roof like they have. Now, if I had a bunch, I would probably sell some of those and add more weight to my stack for free in gold and or silver. But again, the flip side is nobody saw that premium thing coming.
mm-hmm.
So is it going to come again? And who can know? Maybe it would be more beneficial to hang on to them or even buy them. But I'm not doing that either. So it's hard to know. But as far as am I selling? No way. I'm not selling. That's the only thing I might consider.
I mean, I think anyone will sell if they need to, right?
Right.
And I did a video about that the other day, and I had on top of I've been telling everybody cash poor, right? And I'm not stretched too thin, but I had a big expense at the rental property, and I did offload some stuff, and it wasn't out of necessity per se. I mean, it kind of was, but had I put that out in cash, I would have been extremely cash poor. And so the
Yeah.
question of do I have enough in my account to cover the things that just come out of my account may, I don't even know if it would have, but it may have come into play there for a small span of time. And so I'm sitting there and I'm going, okay, I don't feel confident enough in this. So I took a little bit of stuff and I liquidated it. And I'll tell you, I ate crow on some of it. Um, that's a story for another time. Not too bad, but just not as respectfully as I would have liked to think it would have been. But I lost a little bit, but I felt better because I knew now, okay. And like, yeah, like, 6 days later or whatever, I'm fine. And I probably would have been. It was just below my threshold of tolerance. And so I
Yeah,
was like, wait,
that's
nope,
full of
I'm gonna transfer some stuff, make sure I'm good, because there's a lot that depends on me. My son's mother, I take care of some stuff for her. Obviously, there's some child support ish kind of things going on there. And there's just too many other things, other people that may call on me at any time and maybe need something. That between my bills and other things, I just like having a certain amount. And because of that expense that came up suddenly, it was right at the wrong time and just kind of made me see red for a second, like, I don't know. And so I did. I liquidated a little bit of stuff, nothing major, but I feel better about it. And I could probably buy all of it back by the end of the month if I really wanted to. It costs me, but you will sell if you need to. But as far as the market, I haven't been stacking long enough to realize a lot of gains. Now, I will say some of these guys that have been at it longer, that bought silver at $15 an ounce, I mean, yeah, I think the decision for them is you're not even asking the question of do you want to sell, it's do you want to realize some of these gains off this and transfer that into whatever else they may want that fiat to purchase for them, more gold, or who knows, something else that comes up. But yeah, it just depends on where you're at. And I don't know if the Eagle premiums will rise like that again. I think they're still kind of high, higher than most people are comfortable with, but I don't see a whole lot of change coming in that. I feel like
I don't
we
either.
are
Neither patient.
setting new price discovery every day on all of these assets. Uh, and I don't think it's going to change. I think this, unfortunately, is kind of where we're at now. I don't think we're going back.
Well, and when does the U.S. Mint release the numbers of the amount of ASEs they're going to make this year? Is that March, April? When is that? I think that's going to determine a lot about
No,
what the
I think it's a rolling thing. I think you can go on the Mint's website, and I know you can see like what they made, what they sold, like literally week over week. I don't know if they, not on Eagles. I know some of the other things like mint sets and proof sets and things maybe, and they base that off of what sold the previous year. But I mean,
I
I
mean,
don't know.
I might buy some Type One Eagles, and not many. I'm talking like a few, just because I might as well have a few more in the stack, and maybe a couple Type Twos just to have them. But they don't entice me. They never really have. In fact, the only thing the U.S. Mint has put out that has really enticed me ever is the Gold Buffalo. My God, I love the Gold Buffalo. I will have a 1 ounce Gold Buffalo, and once I get one, I'll have two. Uh, the doc brings up some good points. I'm on the fence about selling now. Teens are expensive. Yes, yes, they are. It kind of depends on your situation. As far as what you do, only you can know what's right. But your age, your goals, where you're at, what's going on. I mean, it's a tough call. And Johnny, if I were stacking, I'd only buy non-government rounds or bars with the littlest amount of
Okay.
market possible. That's how I stack. And
Okay.
Frostbite, you might be right, and I might eat crow again on the
Oh,
AS.
so check this out. I just found a Coin World article. It says for 2023, they releases the schedule for over 80 products. I'm trying to see. It's just a list. I'm trying to see if I can find American Silver Eagles, like just the regular ones, because I see Proof W American Eagle Silver Dollar, so like the W mint. Um, I'm not seeing the actual American Silver Eagle, but that's because it's a long list. They're doing some sets. Gold proof set?
Silver Addiction, welcome. Thanks for coming by.
So I don't know if they don't even really have like numbers on here. I think this is just the release of what they're going to release over the year. It doesn't even have the mintages. But one that stands out to me, you want to keep your eye on. There's a 2023 American Eagle 4 coin gold proof set. So
Oh,
that doesn't say silver anywhere in it. I'm wondering if that's literally gold eagles, a proof set of 4 coins. That would be, you know what that probably is? The ounce, the half, the quarter, and the tenth. That's
oh,
probably what that is.
I did misspeak earlier when I said the U.S. Mint doesn't release anything but the gold buffalo that interests me. That might interest me, but I gotta say, the reverse proof ASEs, my God, man, those are beautiful coins.
Did
Oh
you
my
see?
God,
Hold on, I know you're not a coin guy. Did you see the
I am at
Fiji
the right price.
mint? Right, I think
Like
everybody
those
is.
coins, I got those for a great price.
Did you see the Fiji reverse proof Morgan and Peace dollars?
No, but that's going to be a new
Oh
want if I do. I'll tell you that
no,
right now.
they're way expensive. They're
Of
like
course,
I think it's like $800 for the set. They're crazy looking. I mean, they're from Fiji, so they're not U.S. coinage, but they. It just goes to show you that all these other mints are outclassing us, and in this case, on our own stuff.
oh
It's
yeah.
ridiculous.
Frostbite says it's going to be about 5,500 ish. Yeah, for that gold proof set.
If
Yeah,
it,
I bet it looks beautiful though. I mean, I haven't seen it, but man,
yeah, I already got off the list. I don't want to see it, but
me neither
if
because I don't
you
have to find a
can,
way to fund it.
if you can pick right and grab some of those items up, like some of the dealers have in the past historically, like some of the turnaround on some of those things is crazy. And I hate that as a collector, but if it's not ridiculous, I was listening to a podcast the other day where somebody, this was some time ago, I think in the 90s or something, but it was something that came out that he wanted. He couldn't get it. Um, and he was upset. And then on the secondary market, maybe it wasn't even the 90s, maybe it was like the late 2000s because they were talking about eBay. But um, somewhere in there, he said like the secondary market on eBay was like 500 times the price. Like he could have got it from the mint for like $60, whatever this coin was that he wanted, and they were going for like 1,000 plus on eBay.
Dude,
Just like
bait flip
ridiculous money.
has infiltrated.
Uh oh, big
Up
flips it.
flip.
now, hey, I looked at the chat. I mean, you told me to, but I looked at the chat.
You're growing, brother. I'm proud of you.
Well, no, I did see earlier before I went on my mint looking journey. I did see something that I wanted to comment on. Oh, yeah, Frostbite said the Eagles are going up again, especially with the Fed reworking the interest rates. And yeah, now they're talking they might want to go up to a higher percentage level. And see, this is the thing. They start doing things like cutting back the rate hikes, but then they come out with these comments that sound even worse. So like they start acting like they're lightening up, and then they start say it's like a bad girlfriend. They say one thing, they do another, you know, and or
Well,
boyfriend,
it's
bad
just like
partner, but the same thing. Like
the
they're
Bank of
just
England, right? Like they did the same thing. They're like, oh, we're hawkish, we're hawkish, we're hawkish. Then they became doves. And here's what I want to know: why hasn't the pound sterling tanked with the amount of inflation? Has it just not caught up yet? That
I
perplexes me greatly.
that's well, I don't. I mean, yes, there is going to be some adjustment, but when I look at it, because I've been real skittish since all the 2019 stuff, and just in general financially, I've been real skittish, kind of like watching things, trying to see how some of this is going to play out. And I'll tell you what I see on a large scale. the general public, at least here from what I see and what I have access to, has gone back to business as usual. And that's a problem because nobody's yelling about it. Restaurants aren't closed. Some closed because of the 2019 stuff. But now, the ones that did make it through that hump, it's all back to normal for the most part, I mean, relatively. So that's a problem because I kind of feel like this is the new normal. Like people are getting used to it. They're not complaining. Nobody likes it, but nobody's complaining. Nobody's up in arms like, hey, we got to do something. Everyone's just kind of going with the flow. People are still buying new cars. People are still getting into debt. I mean, you know, it's at these
Well,
rates,
dude.
people. I bought a car because I knew I could afford it. Um, I calculated all that out and weighed the benefits, and it was a no brainer for me. But like, I know people that don't know that they can afford it that are still going out and buying cars, and I'm like, I look at these decisions and I'm like, they're not even looking at anything. They just want a pretty car. And I'm like, so that's business as usual,
Oh,
not
it's
thinking about a
instant
purchase.
gratification.
Yeah. And so uh, they're going to adjust, but I don't know how much. I mean, we might go into a new swing of things and it could just kind of be like this. If you look at interest rates since like the housing, right? Everyone likes to point to housing. It's never really been stable.
Yep.
Like you can't historically look at data and go, "Oh, this is probably what it's going to do." There's no every day is price discovery in real estate. Like it can go up, it can go down. It's not as bad as crypto, but I mean, in what was it? Somewhere in the 70s, I think interest rates were like 12, 13%, and that was fine. Nobody batted an eye at it. We're nowhere close to that,
So we
So
got some stuff in the chat here. Gold will correct like the Cougar Ran did in the '90s. Very 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 possible. Got to pay for Biden's war. It's all a plan, man. Inflate us into biggest tax we pay is inflation. 100%. This is all by design. I have
digging
a famous
Dave's here.
relative. He told me in 2019 he heard George Soros, who's my idol, dropped stock and bought gold. So he did the same thing. That's the thing. These famous people, they know what physical assets are. They don't talk about it. Like Elon Musk, he knows he needs silver for Tesla. He doesn't talk about it because he wants it cheap. They don't tell us, the direction they're going because they don't want us to go in that direction. And yes, the doc, they are using credit cards. You know who talks about that more than anybody? I would say would be Jeremiah Babe. That guy's channel is phenomenal. He just talks
Sure.
about, oh, dude, he's good. He's good. He's bald
Is
like
that the guy with the goatee?
yeah, he's great.
I'd quit watching him. He
Oh,
scares the
dude.
hell out of me.
Well, I
He
know
does.
he's early to
Like,
the game, bro. I mean, these people are using credit cards. And let me tell you a story about
um,
that. So
oh,
I work, and Dig and Dave, welcome in. I work at an upscale pizza restaurant. Like, dude, we're expensive. Okay, for one topping pizza, you're dropping $28. It's good. Okay, our rent is $22,000 a month. We got to pay employees. We got utilities. We got to purchase food. And people, dude, okay, are broke, but they're still calling me all day to book parties. And you know how they're paying? They're paying with their credit cards.
that's
They're
what I'm talking
broke.
about.
I know.
That's
They're broke and they don't even understand it. They think, oh, I'll just get out of the debt when everything fails. That's not how it works. I mean, they might be able to file bankruptcy, but people who think like that probably already have within the last 7 years and can't again. Just
yeah,
saying.
and that's what I'm saying. Like when I go out to eat, like I'm looking and I'm spending. I don't know. And this is I'm not flexing or anything, but like if I'm taking like me and the kids out to one of the restaurants that we like to go to, um,
Just dropping
in
food.
some cases it's like 2 to 3 hours worth of work in terms of what that meal is going to cost me, but we like it, so I do it from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
But like I look at other people and I'm like, I saw some like, and yes, you can order and adjust a bit. But like I see people that like work at Walmart go into the same restaurants as me, and I'm like, how, you kind of scratch your head going, like, how is this? I don't, and I don't know, and I'm not judging anybody on their, exact position, but you question, do people have the money to do the stuff they're doing, or are they putting stuff on credit? Like, how are they funding keeping up with their lifestyle in this economy? That's like I don't hear many people talking about downsizing. That's what I mean by it seems like the new normal, and it's kind of scaring me because it's either gonna will float or will sink. Like maybe we'll find a way to make it through on a life raft, and it'll be new normal, kind of going up from here, or we're
Well,
gonna
and check
sink.
this out. So, and most people don't realize this, right? Number one, during the big nasty C word, uh, the Fed made it so that the fractional reserve limit is zero. The bank doesn't have to hold anything in its vaults for the deposit. Number one, and as far as I can tell, because I looked into this, that hasn't reversed. Number two, every time they use a credit card, they're creating cash on an electronic form. Every time you swipe a credit card, cash on a digital screen is created and contributes to inflation.
So you're saying that the money printer go burr for the Fed is supplemented on a more daily and regular basis by the credit cards.
Yes, and
And
if
well, and
our
not only
system is
that, but think about the interest, right? The debt from the interest on the credit cards therein comes into fruition. If the charge does, then the debt's created from that. So they're actually not only creating that percentage, whatever people are charging, but also the interest, because that didn't exist before either.
right, so and I'm going to share a theory of mine, and I thought this from day one. That whole 2019 issue, right? I kind of think part of it was created because we weren't taking on as much debt under the leadership that we had at the time. Because our system is dependent on debt to survive. If people stopped borrowing money and people stopped creating debt, our system collapses. That's just how it works. It's a debt based monetary system. So, and people ask me, well, why would the whole world be on it? Well, think about it. This goes back to we are the world reserve currency. So, if we're not taking on enough debt to survive, how do we introduce more debt? People stop going to work. We start printing money. We start handing money out through stimulus programs. There you go. You go back to 1913 during the Fed, Spanish flu. It was all a distraction during a huge monetary change. So was 2019. I really believe there's some truth in that.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's and there may be. What was it the day before um, the Twin Towers? Well, who
Oh
was it?
yeah,
Was it Powell? Somebody, I want to say Powell, don't quote me, went in front of Congress and said we couldn't account for like either 3 or 4 trillion dollars or something. Like it's gone. We
yeah.
don't know
No,
where.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yes,
and that was the day
it's
before.
gone. We
So
lost it. Can't find it.
yeah, and I think we forgot about that. So, I mean, there's a lot of concerning things. I think, and I said this on one of my live streams, maybe. I think the funniest but the most true thing I've heard in a long time was this comic. I saw like a short of his stand up, and it's a black guy. And he's up there and he's talking. And he's like, I don't like people that don't believe in conspiracy theories. Like, you don't believe in any conspiracy theories. You
Right?
just
Yeah.
think the
Not
government's
not,
telling us the truth a
not
hundred percent of
everything's a
the time.
conspiracy theory, but some things are clearly questionable here, guys.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, you got to think of the government not like our parents, right? They shouldn't be like that kind of authority figure over us. But you got to
Someone
like,
ought to tell them that.
I don't tell my kids the whole truth, most of the time. I mean, it depends. If it's important, I do, but
Right.
like if it makes not a whole lot of bearing, I don't tell them what I necessarily do all day. I don't tell them everywhere I go or what I'm doing or what I'm spending my money on. They have lights and house and food and stuff and cool, you know. So I think like unfortunately the government has kind of adopted that kind of mind state of you'll know what we tell you,
Yep.
and there's not it doesn't seem like well, like what, who, Ron
Like
Paul.
Santa, Kendall. Like Santa.
Like,
Well, you know,
so it's
it's
like
like Santa.
Ron Paul's
It's like
been trying to audit the Fed for how
I
long?
love Ron Paul. He
Yeah,
understands gold and silver. Well, he knows what money is. And Rand
yeah,
Paul's a smart guy too.
yeah. And he's been trying to audit the Fed for how long? And they keep just absolutely no. Or the Fed, maybe Fort Knox. I think he's tried a couple different things, but he just keeps
And
getting shut down.
what's interesting about that too is like I'm surprised and glad that Ron Paul hasn't disappeared because of that.
Well, he's
Look at
getting up
Kennedy.
there though. It's gonna
But
happen
I mean,
soon.
Kennedy wanted to end the Fed, and look what happened to him. I mean, just like what 3 weeks after he was talking about that. I mean,
Well,
it's scary.
and look at there's a lot of talk, and I have not done my research into this, but there's a lot of talk that the majority of some of our enemies abroad um, were going to switch from the petrodollar as their reserve currency for oil trades. And so things happened. And that's where it starts getting real interesting because it happened to one, and then another was talking about it, and then it happened to another, and then another was talking about it, and then it happened to another. So it's like it
It's just
gets
like
real sketchy as far as like the details and what's really happening, and that's the problem nowadays is there's so much information.
it's just
Who
like
do you trust?
certain politicians and big figures that have spoken out against certain mandates have disappeared or mysteriously, passed away. It's kind of convenient. Two things. I got to take an old man bladder break. Can you hold down the fort? Number one. And number two, Kendall, I am hungry and I'm rather engaged. Is there any way you can whip me up a grilled cheese and like send it super overnight, like delivery? Because I'm hungry. I'll be right
Grilled
back,
cheese.
dude.
All right.
Keep them entertained.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to. So the I don't know. I feel like if we had to guess, how long does the chat think we have before the dollar is no longer the world reserve currency? I'd like to think we can hold on for like another 10 to 15, but I'm feeling more and more like that time frame is shortening, especially with some of the other talk of some of these other countries and groups of countries that are at least investigating going back to a gold standard. I don't feel like we're ever going to do that. I If we did, I guess it'd be good, but I don't think we're going to. I think we're full steam ahead on whatever they have planned for our economy and the digital currency that they're creating. So I think, yeah, maybe like I'm kind of worst case scenario 5 to 7, maybe best case scenario like 15. I think that's where we're at. I don't think we can hold on very longer. Johnny says this year. Mello says by the end of the decade, could be sooner. So that's close to my 5 to 7. Edward Scissorhands says 2025. That's super close. Johnny's is closer, but I think it's going to take a lot to move fast. I I'd like to think it'll be a slow transition. That's probably just my fear talking, because if it's fast and the dollar is just in a short period, no longer the reserve currency, like unanimously, it's going to get rough over here. It's going to get real rough. And forget all these Americans traveling abroad. Like, we've had, in most cases, the exchange rate in our favor for a really long time. Ask foreigners that travel about travel. It's expensive because it costs even more to travel somewhere and then be there for that period of time, getting a hotel or eating or whatever it is that they're doing wherever they're at. Most countries that come here or go abroad to other countries don't get a favorable exchange rate. So a lot of that stuff will go. I don't know. It'll be really bad. And it would be for quite some time until some kind of major change happened over here. Um, I wait until they stop making pennies and then I predict that's. I don't even know how long that's going to be, but that can't be too much longer either. Ventress Gibson in a podcast actually stated that fact as like one of the things that I I don't want to put words in her mouth, but it sounded like a very unfavorable kind of comment about the fact that it takes 3 cents to make 1 cent. And so
Exactly.
economically, how long can we hold that up? We were speculating on how long we have with the dollar being the world reserve currency. What are your thoughts on that? I said, I think worst case 5 to 7. I said best case maybe 15. And everybody in the chat that did give more specific answers were much lower than that.
All right, first of all, I never got Kendall's sandwich, so I had to make my own, and I'm going to try to eat it very quiet. I'm dying over here. I'm hungry. Um, Man, God, that's like a metal price prediction, right? Like it's so hard. I think it's likely to happen in my lifetime. I know it's happening faster than it ever has before. Uh, if it happened in 2 to 5 years, I would not be surprised. If
Eesh.
it happened tomorrow, I would be surprised. But if it didn't happen for the next 10 years, I also wouldn't be surprised. It's just we are so good at weaponizing the dollar and holding it over people, and I think the end is getting closer for sure, without a doubt. BRICS is growing. The Saudis really want to dump us. They really don't want to be tied to the USD anymore. But how do you know? And also, it completely depends on who wins an election. Okay, because you know whatever side you stand on politically,
What am I
it
doing?
doesn't matter because if you look at people we trade with, they always, always, always prefer to have the red party in office for trade negotiations. That's just a fact. So I think I think it's gonna be predicated on that as well. But that's a whole nother, rabbit hole.
Well, and I think I said this too. I said if it happens slowly, it's going to suck either way, but I guess that would be the more favorable of the two. But if it happens fast and just, in short order, I don't know, 3 to 6 months of time from start to finish, just all of a sudden everybody unanimously agrees that the dollar's not the world reserve currency anymore, we are in for some pain. And that's what I
Oh,
was
huge.
talking about a bit right before you came back was like Americans won't be traveling anymore. I talked about the exchange rate. I said ask foreigners about traveling, abroad, and you don't hear a lot of them talking about it because it's more expensive. They don't usually have a beneficial exchange rate. America it's pretty even, or we're usually above, on
Well,
the exchange rate. So it's very favorable. When I went to Mexico, the one time I don't even think I had like a week's salary, and I was there for almost a month, and I was trying to spend money. You know what I mean? Like by the end of it, I was buying stuff at the airport just to like spend money because I didn't know when I was coming back. Like, you know,
um,
so
it's
it's
just like
crazy.
the silver and gold to the moon guys, right? If that happens, just like if this collapse happens in the 3 to 6 month period, or what you threw out, think of what that would mean.
Yeah.
Mayhem, people in the streets. I mean, killing each other, trying to survive. And Johnny, you're right. My presence has been reduced, and my influence. I somehow got smaller on the screen. Maybe my Asahi
Oh,
is not feeling. I don't
that's
care.
what I was trying to. My bad. I
I'm
wasn't even looking. I was
I'm just giving you
again.
a bad time.
I'm hyper
Um,
focused, but I was trying to
Mello's
chat
taxes
and
are
it
out. So
changed.
have a good night, Mello. Thanks for
All right,
coming by.
Mello.
But like
Thank
and
you
all
for
these
hanging out.
all these pumpers, right? Like they don't seem to understand the bigger picture. It's like, dude, you don't want silver being, $100 tomorrow. Robert Kiyosaki, I love that guy. When he came out in September and said, I predict silver is going to be $100 to $500. Come on, man. Number one, you don't want that. Number two, that's unreasonable. Oh, is Frostbite joining?
Yeah, I sent him the link earlier. Apparently, he
What's
got
up,
settled.
dude?
What's going on?
How you doing, brother?
Hold on. Set
You
Good. How
guys
are
can't
you?
hear me eating candy. I'm trying to be quiet. I'm starving. I'm not Sal Big where I can just like eat cookies and have nobody, hate on me. I love Sal when he does stuff like that and the coffee slurps.
Yeah, somebody complained about that in one of the live streams, and it was hilarious because he just did it more.
And you are correct, Edward. One seems to be less evil than the other, or more slowly. But you are correct. It seems like the moons are both attached to the same bird.
Frostbite's revving up over there. Look, hey, weren't we talking earlier about not flashy? And this dude gets on here with the banner behind.
And you guys both have faces for TV. See, I got a face for radio, so I can't show mine.
Oh, I mean, you can. Eventually, I mean, it's almost inevitable.
Yeah, maybe
No,
someday.
One
no.
one
I've already
million
replaced two
subscribers.
monitors. No, I've already replaced two monitors.
That's a nice setup, though. I like it. So, what do you
Thanks.
think,
My green screen
Frostbite?
behind. About how long do we have for the dollar?
Yeah.
I mean, it depends. So if you look at what it'll mean, they're going to push it out as long as they can. But if we keep going into debt the way that we're going, I mean, it could be as early as 3 years, I think. When you look at where we've gone historically with, you look back 70s and 80s, you look at that market era and you look at what was going on. I guess I could take my blue gloves off. I was doing my coin search. I forgot about it, but I did find a 2011 DDO DDR.
Ooh.
That was cool.
What denomination?
Nickel.
Nickel. Ooh, nice.
Yeah, it's got the doubling on the Monticello, and it's got the doubling on Liberty, and the 2011 a little bit on the D.
Nice.
Cool.
So nickel worth more than a nickel.
Yeah, I think it's probably worth about $20-25. It was in pretty decent shape. So, but as far as where we're at, if you look at interest rates in the 80s and 90s, you talked about that, right? Where when I bought my first home, I was paying 9.5% interest, and I was like, I got a good deal. right? I mean,
Yeah.
because it had dropped it like 2.5, 3%. And you were talking about a 24-year-old kid who was buying a house and was getting rates cheaper than what my grandparents had. Right. So they were like, oh man, you're paying attention to stuff. Well, my interest rate now is like 2.49%. It's not going to be that way for long. We're going to be up at 6.5, maybe even 7% by the end of the year.
Oh no, we're already there.
It's kind of like how we
Well,
went from paying $6, $7 a gallon for fuel to $4, and we're doing good instead of losing. Yep.
yeah, and we're going to see, and again, when you look at political change, right, and anybody who says it's not part of the machine, you're going to see elections come and gas prices drop. Election get, the stuff is done, prices go up. I mean, that's just normal workflow. That's just how it's going to be. But I see two major things. And again, I'm not a financial expert. I listen, watch, observe, and then I go back to history because we are natures of history. We are creatures of history. We repeat our stupidity. That's
Yep.
Einstein. Stupidity is doing something over and over again, or insanity, doing something over and over again and expecting a different result. And we get stuck into that route. And until we change our mind, we're going to have that same basic failure mode that's going to happen. And while I don't think we'll get to that gas chaos that we got into in the 70s, I think we're going to run into another issue that we ran into in 2007, 2009, within the next 7 to 10 years. I think we're going to have a major correction within the industry. I think it's going to affect. I think there's going to be a big drop in gold and silver prior, and then I think that we're going to see exactly what happened in 2007 to 2009, which was that bank in gold and silver. But we're going to be seeing a correction long before that.
Off to the
So I
races
think we'll
of
see a
that.
drop in that for a couple of years. I think the Fed will suffer, our bills will come due, and then we'll see gold and silver finally increase. But I
I
think
agree with that. Oh,
on a 10-year cycle, I'm thinking that we're going to see gold and silver prices, and I'm talking my hunch for silver is back to 15, 16, and gold into the $1,600 range, $1,700 range.
I think that's a fair estimate,
correction.
and I think that's going to be a great buying opportunity.
And then it's exactly right. Same thing when the market drops. It's not you're losing money. You get an opportunity to gain more at a reduced price.
Yeah.
How are we going to be able to determine when that happens? We're going to have to watch people like Elon, right? When he starts dropping stuff, when he starts saying, hey, we're reducing the silver content in our solar panels by 75%. We're no longer using this metal, or we're taking gold out. And we're going to be utilizing some other metal or something like that. I would watch that because that means they're expecting the increase and they're going to take that out of production. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's going to be some signs. I think they're going to be very subtle, and you're going to have to watch what's happening in those industries where I forget who we were talking about. I think it was Nick Molnar. Just quickly while he was on earlier this evening, where it's like, if you think about the top conductors, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're all the precious metals.
Yep.
So when you start seeing industry monitor and value drop what they're doing, drop the prices, drop those things, drop the amounts that are going in. When we start seeing that kind of reduction, that's when we need to start buying gold and silver. And excuse my son. He's playing with his Hot Wheels motorcycle and thinking he's cool. Anyway, so I think that's what we need to watch. Now, Am I absolutely correct? I mean, I'm I'm a newbie in this thing. I've been doing this for, well, YouTube for what, a month and a half, right?
Yeah.
So take it for what it's worth. But I've been debt free for 19 years.
Well done.
I'm not stupid with my money. I don't spend. Now, I got a little crazy the last month because I wanted to kind of engage in and get this thing started, get the party started kind of thing. Uh, so I've been a little bit stupid with my spending, but staying within my means. So I'm not a complete idiot.
Can
Just
I
a
ask you?
partial idiot.
Can I ask you guys both a personal question about that? Because I've been thinking about this lately. Matt, you're on your way to being monetized. Frostbite, you and I are not. Well, we're on our way, but we're not at that point where it's the light at the end of the tunnel. I was thinking about this the other day, and I'm not counting. This channel does motivate me to buy more medals to showcase, of course, but I'm going to do that anyway. So I'm not counting that. But I got to thinking about this the other day. I've probably got close to $2,000 into this channel with the camera equipment, with the stuff I mailed out, some of the stuff I've given away. This is not cheap, and it's time consuming. I mean, you guys have any input on that?
Go ahead, Frostbite. Mine's longer.
Well, I don't know. As a person who deals within information systems, if you use it only for this means and you're buying it just to do this, to try to keep pace with everybody else, it's foolish.
Right.
Because you don't have to have this high tech crazy stuff to be successful. You can see channels that, I mean, they're decent and they're monetized and they don't have high tech gadgets. They don't have the high tech budgets, but they have good, solid content. They're reliable. Their people know when they're going to be on. They're dependable. They give good, solid intel. And they have 30, 40, 50,000 followers. Now, if you have the means, so I know you work in your area for work, right? I work in this area for work. So my setup, I've got 3 monitors, 2 computers, I've got lighting, and I've got my other table for my coin scopes and stuff. But it's my workspace. So my investment that's how I make money. And not even being monetized. So if you're not utilizing it other than just to make an impression, then I think it's worth the money. But to just throw money into it just because, again, it's stupid spending, right? It goes back to what Just Stack It was saying earlier. It's the status quo. Buy in because you buy, right? There's really not a need. Whereas the stuff that I have, because of the data and the stuff that I look at, having multiple monitors makes my work efficiency increase. But I don't need it to stream.
Right.
I had a horrible quality camera phone. That's why I put some money into a camera. But it was something I needed anyway. But I want to hear that longer answer from Mr. Stackett.
Okay, so I have a lot on this one. This channel is different than the last, right? On the last, I can't even give you a cost benefit analysis overall. I know I lost money, but a lot of that was personal decisions along the way. I was buying cars, fixing them like insurance wrecks, and doing other kinds of like automotive content. But like Frostbite said, I did, and this was years ago. YouTube's a bit of a different place. Phones have gotten better, but and it goes back to what Constitutional said. I was such an idiot that we had decent phones back then. Everybody's were about on par with, what everybody had. So I went and bought like a GoPro kind of style camera. I still have it. And some stuff, and I didn't go crazy, but I spent like, I don't know, like $60 on this thing, and I filmed like my first video with it. And the quality was horrible. And then I remember like sometime later, somebody somewhere was like, well, why don't you just use your phone? The thought had never occurred to me because I was so far outside of anything I knew that I was like, wait, like that might work. Hold on. And so I started shooting video with my phone just to test it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so much better. So, I mean, there's that. And then there's all the other stuff I put into mine on that channel. I was getting stuff from tool companies sent to me. I mean, all kinds of stuff. I gave away a ton of stuff on that channel, which was fine. But I wasn't in a position on that one to capitalize on some of the things that did occur. And for those reasons, I feel like I didn't invest correctly in that channel. And now looking back at it, the amount of work that went into it versus anything that I would have gotten out of it probably don't line up. For some people, they might, but unless you have like a 2-car garage and all this space to film and free time and all these other things that you would need to really be successful in that area, yeah, it's probably not worth investing. Now, on the silver side, a lot of this we're all doing anyway. You're acquiring things, you kind of have talking points, you're watching the market, you know what you like, what you don't like, maybe what other people like or don't like. And so you can kind of speak to those things, provide information. It's a lot less financially intrusive over on this side. But that being said, luckily on this side, I have some of those things that I invested from the previous channel. Case in point, on the desk here is a cell phone gimbal thing. It's powered normally and gives you steady video if you're moving around and doing stuff. This camera here that I'm filming on now is a Canon 80D. It's a little older now, but at one point it was a very expensive camera. This thing cost a pretty penny. Right now, I just use it as a webcam. It's actually too big to really shoot anything viable with, which is kind of funny because I wanted it because I was like, I need to up my video quality, and I purchased it. And then I think I filmed like one video with it, like, on the mechanics channel, like actually, and I was like, this just doesn't work. It's too big. It's too bulky. You can't hold it steady. To buy a gimbal for that thing is ridiculous. So, yeah, I would agree with Frostbite. Look at what you have and do the best you can with what you got until like a channel or something starts paying dividends. Like literally, do not buy a phone. Don't invest in like really any kind of crazy lighting. If it's under like $50 and you have it, okay, a couple times, but don't invest anything major into trying to get your channel off. Focus on your content, focus on your message, whatever that stuff might be.
Well, see, if you go back to my first videos, the video quality is terrible because I've never been one of those guys that goes out and spends $2,000 on an iPhone. It doesn't interest me. Now, if I had something like that, that's what I would use. I have a $200 phone because I don't care. So I spent, $400 on a Sony camera. I spent because I just wanted certain quality to be there. It doesn't have to be 4K. It's 1080, and I'm good with that. But see, what I spent on what I used for this channel is money I didn't spend on the things that I felt I didn't need before the channel. So that's, you know what I mean? Like I didn't, and I certainly didn't put myself in financial ruination to do so.
Right.
So
yeah,
I don't
you're
want to paint the
not
wrong picture.
you're not in that category at all.
The lighting, I think I spent $30 on the ring light that I use in some of my videos. So It's not much, but I it does take time, and it takes there's a lot of time. I think the biggest investment in this is time, and it doesn't bother me. I actually really enjoy it. I enjoy the relationships I've formed, the people I've met, and my ultimate goal is to reach as many people as I can, and hopefully benefit them. So I don't want to paint the wrong picture that I spent a bunch of money that I didn't have to or couldn't afford.
No,
So if I painted
no,
that,
no, not at all. And I think you're on par. I mean, because yes, like video is probably like number three. Content is always king,
and
but
audio,
number two is audio.
yeah.
If you don't have good audio, forget about it.
And by the way, this webcam I'm using, I got yesterday. I spent $40 on. Is the audio okay?
Yeah, you're great.
Frostbite, what do you think?
Your audio's fine. I have no problem with audio.
Okay, I just wanted to check. It's my $40 investment.
Yeah,
So
go ahead,
and
Frostbite.
I really agree with what you just said because I listened to Mr. Beast's commentary on how he got started, right? Because when you're talking about YouTube, who really knows it better? I mean, the man changed. He's 24?
Maybe a little older now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
26,
24
whatever
to
year,
25,
right? I
somewhere
mean,
in there.
he's still half my freaking age. So, hey. But when I listened to kind of what he was saying, he basically summarized the same thing. I saved every dollar I made and bought an upgraded equipment, right? So that I buy a new camera. Then I would buy a light. Then I would buy a new monitor. Then I bought a better computer. And then, he just talked about investing his stuff and working into that. But he said the same thing. My content sucked, but I had good, or my video quality sucked, but I had good audio and good content. And it kept people watching what I was doing. And that allowed me the opportunity to move on. But I think where I'm going to speak for myself, and I know that I've talked to Constitutional a number of times, and I kind of think he feels the same way. But when the reason that I started my channel was because there's not a numismatic, a stacking community where I live. And I wanted to plug in. So my goal was not YouTube monetization. That wasn't my goal. If it happens, it happens, right? I don't care if I have one viewer, like my stream this evening. I decided I was going to go live, do a coin roll. I think I had maybe 2 people show up. So what? I've met with Perry Custom Coins. He came on and we talked for 45 minutes. Or Perry Custom Cards, sorry. And we just talked because I wanted to know about him. This community is about that. I've had people that have really solid channels who have emailed me and say, call me. This is how you make your video better. This is how you engage. You have good information. You have good topics. Engage with these particular users. Get on these particular streams. Get on their panels. Have those conversations. And that's exactly what I want to do anyway, right? And so engaging in what we want to do. If you love it, your channel will grow.
I agree with that 100%, all of it.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell the ones that are, I don't know, trying to force things, and I don't know, maybe even be over the top a little bit. Like you can kind of sense that, like the realism and the passion versus I'm literally just doing this for attention or fame or whatever have you. I feel like most people can sniff that out.
Well, there are some people, and I'll call out 2 people. I love both of their channels, and they have something I will never have. Okay, and that is a selling charisma. Okay, Rob seeks treasure, or Rob finds treasure.
Yeah.
That dude is about to go and he's going to find this thing and he's going to get engaged. But he's fun to watch. He's engaged. He's a salesman. It's what he does. That persona that he's created is Rob, and he's authentic about it. It's not phony. It's not a bunch of hogwash. He loves what he does, and it exudes through his user base, right? People like watching him. As much as I'm not going to say who it is, but this is the first time I'm talking about this. So if you know who that is, it annoys the hell out of me. But I find myself watching him because that is that persona that he's done, right? And that's what sells you. I won't be that way. Mine is stupid dad jokes, right? I want people to laugh and smile. I don't care if they go, "Oh my God, this guy is stupid." Okay, fine. That's fine. Just share my video. I don't care, right? Share him and tell me how cringeworthy I am. I don't care. I want people to laugh. And so I try to tell jokes and try to connect and get people to laugh. So, but you have to be yourself.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I've gotten better over time. When I first started, I was horrible. I don't even want to think about my first live stream. I'm sure that was a train wreck. But
I'm gonna have to go
I've
look.
gotten I've gotten better. But again, like I said earlier, in regards to different topics, I feel like I have a plateau. I've I'll probably never have that charisma that a lot of people just naturally have. And that's okay for me. And I will get better. But yeah, I can't. I don't have a selling bone in my body to like really present something well and compellingly that would make someone who otherwise wasn't interested be interested. I just some people have it, some people don't. I don't, and so I work within my means and try to figure out. Okay, well, I can't do that, but what can I do? You know, information. I'm pretty good at sorting through stuff. Like I just, um, oh, it says
Well,
I'm
and
having.
I'll tell, and Constitutional Stacker has heard this. There, there are people that have told me, watch Just Stack It. Okay. And I'll tell you why. Because you just engage conversation. You do what
Sometimes.
you're doing, you're talking about what it is, but you just engage in conversation. And when people are looking for something to do, they want to feel like they're part of the conversation, right? And you do that really, really well. Constitutional, right? He engages with the panels and stuff, and he's talking to people and he's engaging people. It's the same thing. And so, why do people just come and sit and watch your stuff? Because you're engaging. But why is that? Because you're you. You're being who
Yeah,
you are, right? And it's really important to. And I've tried to force a couple things, and nobody watches it.
yeah,
Nobody,
yeah.
because it's not me, you
Yeah,
know. But
I
you
did
look
that
at
on my last channel. I tried to I don't know which one it was, but there was one video where I tried to ham it up a bit, and I can't even believe I uploaded it. And I just remember thinking like, if this is what it takes, it's I'm not doing it. You know what I mean? I was like, I uploaded it. It was like, if this does well, then I know this isn't for me, and it didn't. And I was like, okay. So that kind of reaffirmed some of that belief that I'm on the right track. I just gotta, everybody has to find their own audience. I was talking to Roadhog somewhere a long time ago in one of the chats, and I said, anyone can start a channel, and you will find an audience, whether that audience is 50 people or 5
Mhm.
million.
Exactly.
It's It's a difference of what people like and where they feel comfortable. Everybody wants a place to belong.
You know what's funny about you two? Not you two, but you two, the both of you. You guys both sell yourself short as far as your talent in your own minds. I think you're both different channels from each other, but I think you're both very good and very entertaining. Now, that being said, I've got a wild hair. Do you still have Streamlabs open, my good man?
Oh yeah, I still got it up.
I kind of want to give away something else.
Uh-oh.
Y'all want to do a giveaway? Because I want to do a giveaway. It turns out I found that Rosie counting a till out the other night, and I just don't have a tube for it. So I have an extra piece of me laying around. So I think I should give away a 90% Roosevelt dime.
Sounds fair.
Why
I'll
not?
start it up.
And that won't cost me $10 to ship or $10.40. It'll cost me a stamp. But there won't be fair warning, there will not be tracking on this one because I'm not going to pay $10 to ship you a dime.
That's what I do, and a lot of them, not all of them. Some of them you can't help it, but it's worked out pretty well so far. I've not had anyone get a hold of me and say they haven't gotten it, but I have a very creative way of packaging them. I basically wrap them up in a couple sheets of paper.
Yeah.
It's in a flip or a bag or something, and then I staple that in the paper so it can't shift and move too much, and then staple the paper shut on the edges and then put that in the envelope. And as long as you're under the 1 point whatever ounces, you're still good. So
yeah, you want to make sure it's not moving around so people don't know it's metal. Look, Edward Scissorhands is on it this time. Bam, he figured that one out.
And you can't see it because the thing's going to make it disappear. But that's how I got my little 1 gram silver bars from you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You got your bars. Yeah, I think most people, and that's the only other thing is like, I check with people occasionally when I see them, or I'm sure like the regulars would be like, "Hey, did you send that?" And so far I haven't had any issues. So fingers crossed.
Okay, now I see Kendall is in it. Now, Kendall, if you win, you got to send me some sun chips. No.
Yeah, we're getting some people in Silver Addiction, North Shore, Roadhog, Edward, Kendall.
They're on it on this one.
Well, yeah, silver.
Constitution is what I'm going to do.
What?
If I win this race, I'm going to double it, and I'm going to give it to the person who finishes in last.
Oh, I like that.
Well, it's not a race, so it's hard to tell who would be last.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a random pick. I can't do the race.
Can you do one of the free races?
With like the ducks or the
I don't even know where that's at. Honestly, I don't even know what site they do those on.
Kendall, I love the sun chips though. Me too. Well, yeah, how do we do that? So
we can. Yeah, I could do a second drawing. We could just do the second. Whoever it pulls next. I think I can pull again.
So wait a minute. So Frostbite is entering into the giveaway then. So if you win,
yeah, he's going to double it. He's going to double it, and then you'll both send a dime, I'm guessing, to whoever wins after him.
All right.
Yeah. So if I win, then I will send the coin, and then whoever wins will get both of them.
Okay, I like it.
All right, here we go. First pick. See who it is. It is Lucky Jimmy Lacari.
Johnny, he's not participating. Giveaway 0. All right, Jimmy, email me your mailing address on my About Me tab. It's constitutionalstacker80@gmail.com. We'll get that Rosie out.
All right. Awesome.
And Jimmy won, but he still does it rigged.
Oh, yeah. Jimmy's got some luck. I don't call him Lucky Jimmy Lacari for nothing. He just smells giveaways. And he's done very well for himself, from what I can tell. I've been on plenty of streams, and he wins a lot.
So Frostbite doesn't get to give away a dime unless he wants to do his own.
I'll give my own away.
Oh,
All
what a
right.
guy!
I already closed it, so we'll have to reopen it.
We can make him wait.
No. We'll do something different.
Oh, okay.
This is going to be a trivia piece, and
Uh-oh.
it's going to be about silver, 4% mercury dimes to be specific.
Okay.
So there was an article that was talking about the reason that they made the dime, the dollar, the quarter, was because of their silver weight. Because they charged back in the day, the dollar was 1 ounce worth of silver. So true or false? With that logic, was the dime a 10th ounce of silver?
Ooh.
Well, it would have been a 14th of an ounce of silver.
Well,
Because
maybe.
14 dimes makes an ounce of silver. But
The question is, was it a 10th of an ounce?
I guess it would have been.
I will be right back.
So silver
Value-wise,
addiction got there first, according to mine.
yeah, that's the first one.
Yeah. And it's 0.03. Yeah. So the person who wrote the article was an idiot.
Yeah.
So you can't always trust what you read. But anyway, okay. So let me give you my. While I'm doing this, did you guys hear about, or did I tell you guys about my bank experience and walking in and Kermit the Frog was talking to the teller?
What?
Yeah. So I walked in and hold on, I'm going to enter this into chat, but I need to make sure it's correct. Boom. Send me that one. Send me your and I'll get that dime out to you. So I went to the bank and Kermit was standing there and arguing with Patricia and said, Patricia Whack was the teller's name. And it was like, I want $20,000 to buy a little silver bell. I want a loan. And she goes, you can't have $20,000 for that. There's no collateral that you can give for that. And it's like, look, Mick Jagger's my dad. I have the money. And she's like, Mick Jagger ain't your dad. It's like, go ask the bank manager. I promise you, Mick Jagger's my dad. So she's like, fine. So she walks and talks to the bank manager. The bank manager comes back and says, what's the problem? It's like, well, Kermit's out there saying Mick Jagger's his dad. And she's like, yeah. And he wants $20,000 to buy a bell. And she said, it's a knick-knack, paddywhack. Give the frog the loan. His old man's a Rolling Stone.
Oh my God.
Oh,
that's the worst dad joke I've ever heard. The setup on that is just immaculate.
I don't know. I got some dad jokes.
It's all good fun.
Knick knack, paddywhack.
So before you
Jimmy,
tell a
don't forget
dad
to email
joke,
me
when a
your
joke becomes a
address.
dad joke?
What was that?
So constitutional, before you can tell a dad joke, do you know when a joke becomes a dad joke?
No.
When it becomes apparent.
that was pretty good. I like that. That's pretty good.
So go ahead, tell you that joke.
Did you hear about the lens grinder or the eyeglass maker that fell into the lens grinding machine? He made a real spectacle of himself.
Yeah. You know, I'm always amazed when opticians get into accidents. You think they'd see it coming.
Oh,
That's
I
good.
don't have any good dad jokes.
What do you mean?
I don't. I'm not a funny person. I have plenty of jokes. They're not dad jokes. I try to stay young.
All right, so I am down. Let's see, I'm down 1 ounce. I'm down 1 ounce of silver today. I better get my butt to the LCS tomorrow, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go make an appearance at mine too, just to kind of see what's up. Um, I haven't been in there in a while, and that's the thing about him is he gets stuff and it disappears. So
Weird.
like he'll have nice stuff, and he'll be like, "Yeah, you just missed it." I'm like, "Ah." So I try to stop in on him regularly, but actually, I'm leaving. Yeah, I'm going back up to the Chicago area next week Monday. So I'll be back up there, and I know I go to the Gold Depot every time I go in. I'm gonna see this time too if there's another shop somewhere in the area. I know they have another one of their locations, but it's like 30 minutes in the wrong direction. So I'll see if there's something else up there for me to go look at. But oh,
Again, I got to point out, and I don't know, you weren't here as part of the conversation, Frostbite, but this 3 hour and 30-minute live stream was our 20 to 45-minute plan.
Yeah, I heard that when I first came on. Yeah, you guys were sitting at like an hour and 20 minutes at that time.
So,
it happens.
Frostbite, what state are you in?
State of
Texas.
confusion.
Oh, that's right, Texas.
Look at his shirt. Where's he at?
Duh. So what time is it in Texas?
Say that again.
What time is it in Texas? Is it 12:45?
11:45. Yeah.
Okay, and it's 12:45 in Ohio.
Yeah. I
It's
can't hang with
9:45.
you. I can't hang with you West Coast guys.
I know it's only 9:45 here.
Yeah, you
Oh,
guys
yeah,
are just
no,
getting
mine-
started.
I'll be turning in. My work day starts at 4:30 in the morning, so
Dude,
I'll
you're
be
a
turning in
machine.
shortly.
You're a
Yeah.
machine.
That's a lot, man. I don't
Yeah,
even
well,
start
it's
that
not, I don't
early.
have to go far to my office, just upstairs. So
Yeah, mine's right here too, but even I don't get up that early. Jeez. 4:30
Mine's an hour away,
working
Joe.
remotely? Oh.
yeah, it's well, my central office is in Washington, DC, and in Maryland. And
Ah.
so,
Are you a Fed?
am I up? No.
We're all getting audited this year. You said you bought.
Silver Addiction says 12:45 here. Where are you at, Silver Addiction?
East Coast somewhere.
Yeah,
North Carolina.
or Midwest.
Now, see, now North Shore's military.
Yep, 11:45 there. Michigan. There you go.
Oh yeah, Michigan.
Yep.
Yeah, Michigan's nice this time of year.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool place.
All that lake effect snow. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. I got to get a couple of things done before I turn in. And I'm going to play with that app that allows me to play with my phone on the computer. As silly as that sounds, it's got a lot of advantages. So I'm going to tease with that a bit. I thank everyone for hanging out, Frostbite. Thanks for coming up on panel.
Yeah,
Constitutional, thank you for talking me into it. Much appreciated. Congratulations to all the winners. Mello, Jimmy Lacari, Johnny T. And I missed who won that last one there, Frostbite. Who got that question correct?
That was Silver Addiction.
Yeah.
Oh, Silver Addiction.
Needs to send me an email.
Jimmy, make sure you send me an email. I
So
can get
Jimmy
your,
sent me an email.
Oh, okay. Well, I got to send that to Jimmy.
I'll forward you that email.
You got an email, right?
Or Silver can send you an email, and I'll send it to Jimmy.
Either way, someone send me something.
Let's get addresses.
Have
All right.
your girl call my girl.
We'll do
do
lunch.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for watching and participating in the chat. Much appreciated. Frostbite. We'll have to do it again soon. Maybe
Sounds
next
good.
time a little more planned.
And one more thing before I
I'm
get
gonna
off
be
here.
I'm gonna be live 7 Central tomorrow. I'm gonna be doing some more coin stuff. So if you want to hop on in, holler at me.
7 Central. That's like 5 my time. Right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can look at. Wait. 7 Central is 9 my time. Okay. Yeah, I'll figure it out.
How
I'll
is
find
it
you.
9 your time? 8.
Isn't it? I'm too ahead. Oh, Central. I always get Central and Mountain confused.
Yeah. Well, Central's flat, mountains like this.
See, there's all kinds of valuable information that you guys can get from all of us here. We just learned a good takeaway. I'm gonna get out of here too,
jokes
guys.
for everything. They call me the Duke of Dad jokes at work. So,
But before Matt cuts the stream, I just want to say one thing to everybody watching. Can you guys guess what that might be? It's probably going to be keep stacking.
All right. Have a good night.
take care.
Thanks, guys.